Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show where I check to make sure everything's working. I'm Patrick, your local game host, and this is Will, local gamer and
So,
co host. Hey, man, not much. Just thinking about foundations. Oh my god. Have you heard of the latest set? It changes everything.
for
But
five
we're
years.
for 5 years. Well, so we're not too concerned about that though. We're just really interested in the legendaries. I guess I mean, I don't know how many of these like have rule changes in their text that are relevant for commander players.
Uh, you mean like which have relevant effects for Commander, or just which
Well,
change the rules of Commander to a relevant degree?
no, I mean, well, they've modified the rules of the game slightly from what I saw,
Yeah,
but it's really
it's
just combat.
just combat stuff. So one is the change from a couple months ago of you have first combat now, and then all of these new cards are gonna have after first combat as opposed to on your pre-combat main phase or yada yada yada. So that's one change. The other change isn't too bad because it's what people have been doing anyways. Basically, before you'd attack, blockers would be declared. Then there is the time when people order blockers and then damage is dealt. In between ordering blockers and damage being dealt, people could use combat tricks on their on blockers to be able to get to protect stuff because the attacking player chooses blocking order. Then the blocker can say, okay, I'm going to buff the first thing that you're going to deal damage to so everything lives.
No, 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 no.
But now they just say, screw that whole step. The attacker attacks, the blocker blocks, and then the attacker says, I'm dividing this damage as I choose among these things. So it's kind of like combat damage instead of being trample is going to be fork.
Mm-hmm.
It's instead of overkilling to the next creature in blocking order, it's just divide this damage as you choose amongst blockers. So theoretically, you could say, "Oh, you have a 4/4 and another 4/4, and I also have a 4/4. I'm dealing two to each. Both are going to live, but I'm dealing two to each."
And why not?
I mean, to be fair, there is one really good reason I can think of why that's relevant, because
Plasm.
you have some cards that say if a creature that was dealt combat damage by this dies, get an effect. So now you can go, oh, you blocked with
Oh,
three things, one damage to each, kill spell.
yeah, no, that is kind of dope. I mean, I don't think that's going to come handy for any of our legends today, but
It's not.
so, guys, we're going to be covering Foundations tomorrow as well. We'll be providing you a set review with all the cards you should be looking to pick up, unless you just want to buy a bunch of packs and cross your fingers. But we're going to give you a full breakdown on the set tomorrow morning, so hang tight for that. It should be around 10, Will? 10 is good. I
Whatever
mean,
time works with me. I usually get up at 6, so
I was thinking 10. But on that note, though, today we're, if you couldn't guess from the thumbnail, covering all of the legends from the set from the perspective of cEDH players. We have a patented system we use to rank these, but basically, this is for fun, especially with elements of Commander just up in the air right now. I don't even know if we should use the word CD. You notice I use the word EDH or the acronym EDH in the thumbnail. I don't even know if do I call it competitive? I don't know how it's gonna be anymore. So with that in mind, we're gonna rank these to the best of our ability as competitive
welcome to your
players.
favorite bracket 4 Commander
Right, right, because we might
YouTube
need
channel.
we need to switch the tier. We need to switch the tiers to brackets. At a certain point, we'll be like, well, this is definitely top of that bracket. Um, and I don't know how that's going to be identified. So I don't know. The game is in a very interesting place right now, and that's neither good nor bad. But as we do with all of our other previous tiers, we're going to be ranking this in the same order you see in that thumbnail, S through D. Will, if you want to give them the rundown really quick.
So S is the cEDH decks that are going to be relatively commonplace. Your Winotas, your TNTs, so on and so on. Those decks that you will see relatively frequently. Think of like Obnixilis as the lower end of that. Something that you will see sometimes, but it's not always topping the charts. It will win tournaments. A tier is the decks that are functional. They're good. Not everybody plays them, but you will see them relatively often. B tier is the decks that are more so pet decks for cEDH, things that can work but aren't really common, won't usually ever win tournaments. Think of stuff like Raga Draga, or think of stuff like Sasaya, or stuff like that. I'd say Sasaya is a lower end of that, but think of that kind of power scale. C tier is casual, self-explanatory. D is don't play, also self-explanatory. And I guess I should preface casual is anything that would be fun or interesting in a casual format, but isn't good enough for cEDH, but would still be good enough to build. D is don't play, and those are the things that either it is a worse version of another commander by a significant degree, or it's just not good enough to play as a commander itself. It could be good in the 99, but it's just not good as a commander itself, because everything on this tier list we're rating just by what it is as a commander, not what it is in the 99.
Right, but this is where we leave it to you. If there are cards that we talk about today that you feel are good in the body of a certain legendary or commander list, let us know. Also, if you have different thoughts or feelings on these legendaries as we go through today, the point of doing these live is so that we can work together on placing these in our tier list. Again, funsy. Pocket TCG, yeah. I was gonna say there's no pack cracking today, Mateus. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to me. I wish there was. I have I've got some sorcery over there still. I kept some sealed sorcery. I have I was just joking about Pokemon Pocket TCG. I think I have like I'm playing the shit out of that game. I think I have a pack to open. We'll see. I'm fortunate enough to have just naturally pulled the Mewtwo list, and I just mean a Mewtwo list. Kicking ass. But I really do want to do like a Wigglytuff build. I prefer off meta shit all the time. But Mewtwo's good. I had a consecutive win streak of 15, Will. I don't know if that's a record, but I felt really good about that until I got fucking stomped by a Misty Articuno list. At any rate, this probably means nothing to any of you if you don't play Pokemon Pocket TCG. It is very fun though. Shout out to Pokemon.
Is
14
Arkham
million.
Jackson a better Oswald? I will say Oswald is probably better than Arkham in my opinion, because Oswald comes back out faster and you don't need to run like random weird dead cards in your Oswald deck, but you need to run artifact creatures in Arkham. So I
Yeah.
think Oswald is better Arkham just due to speed and smoothness.
Yeah. And I'm biased, so I'm not gonna answer that question. Well, you have an Arkham list and I have an
Patrick
Oswald
doesn't
list.
play blue.
Well, there was that for a time. I mean, so Arkham's fine. Arkham's fine.
Yeah,
Will's
Arkham's
Will's
playable.
correct though. Will's correct
I,
though.
I
The artifact creatures are just weird and they're a little clunky without Arkham, obviously. Where Oswald is like that same artifact creature is like a vexing bubble. You know, it's just another utility for the deck that I could churn out
I will
other
say
artifacts with.
I get one feeling that you will never get, Patrick, and that is turning an Ornithopter into a Chromatic Ori and then never having to worry about pips for the entire rest of the game.
Well, as a monocolored list, it's probably not that bad. But I mean, you do have a lot more blue pips than I have to deal with white
When
pips,
that
I'm sure.
Mana Vault pays for mind over matter, you're pretty freaking happy.
Speaking about mind over matter, Arbo, the first fang. So, guys, we're gonna kick this off with white. Obviously, we're gonna go through these in Wooburg order, finishing with multicolored legendaries. There will be some multicolored legendaries just by way of color identity that we just cross before we get to those specific multicolored legendaries, but it doesn't matter. They're all gonna rank the same. Will Arbo, the first fang. Have you heard of this guy? He's the mighty.
Indeed, I have.
He's the mightiest
He's
of cats, huh?
indeed.
He's
I really wish I looked up like Aristocats
oh,
songs before this just for this.
you're
Who
oh
would
well.
be a cat?
It's not too late. For two generic and a white 2/2 body cat avatar, other cats you control get +1/+1. Hold on. Whenever Arbo or another non-token cat you control enters, create a 1/1 cat creature token. All right, so yeah, it is cool to be a cat. I guess.
Now, hear me out. Leonin Relic Order is a
I
cat.
know. I know.
Unfortunately, even though you can now do a mono white Leonin Relic Order loop, still probably not good enough because your loop is probably going to be blasting station to do infinite damage. So you get
Yeah.
infinite 1/1s along with that infinite damage, but
If this
you don't
was
need it.
No. The fact that you're generating tokens is less relevant here. I'm surprised this isn't a Selesnya commander because you know what? Making tokens is something they want to do. And it's never to any real means. Like, you're not going to finish the game with this, sadly. So, yeah, yes, what Will suggested is accurate, but the blasting station line he's referring to, it doesn't need Arabo, sadly. So you can make a lot of cats with a cat cleric lead and relic order. I think that this is an interesting deck if you just want to play a cat deck, and in that sense, it's like hyper casual. But I don't find that this is gonna be making waves in a competitive setting. Bracket 3 anytime soon.
I think it's a D for don't play only because
Oh damn,
there are better cat commanders. We have the elemental cat guy that says creatures of these five different types get +1/+1. And it doesn't
cats,
make
Will,
tokens.
cats.
Yeah.
Cats
One
specifically.
of them is cats. One of them is cats, but it's like
Okay.
cats, beasts, plants, elementals, yada yada yada.
We've got the cat
Um
dog combo. We have the
yeah,
old
we also have the one Naya commander that when you make a token, instead you may make either like I think a 2/2 vigilance dog or a 3/1 hasty cat.
mm,
And that's just a better cat commander if you want to do cat stuff there. So
I'm fine with
yeah,
D. I'm
D.
fine with D. I think that like really I could see someone making a casual cat deck with this just because it looks fun, using some flicker effects. I mean hyper casual. Bygone is going to be played in Rafine or
Yeah,
Brigon.
that is the
Oh,
next one. So
you can go. Yeah.
Brigon is a soldier of Melitus, 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature human soldier with vigilance and heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Brigand, put a +1/+1 counter on Brigon, and then you can tap and remove a counter from Brigone to draw a card. I don't know how to pronounce the name exactly, so we went with every single pronunciation there. Um,
Gods guide my hand. Could you imagine if multiple gods tried to like take the wheel at that moment and her fucking sword
it's
like is just like this?
yeah,
Gods assist me. It's like, wait, stop, wait, one of you at a
it's
time.
it's like those video games where you're controlling each of the limbs with like
Yeah,
one
yeah,
key or
yeah.
multiple people control the limbs of a character. It's just like
It's the Mario Party thing. Oh, we just got Mario Party Jamboree. There's this mini game where it's like 3 versus 1, and one of you's in a swimming pool, and like the other three are like operating a claw machine essentially. It's that. At any
uh,
rate, one god at a time. Single file, please.
I will say, heroic put up counter is interesting. It's decent. Vigilance and being able to tap, remove a counter, and draw a card is pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, Refine was brought up just because keep putting multiple counters on Brigand every single turn, and then you just draw multiple
Ooh.
cards, or you draw your card per turn every single time because you connive and always have the counters.
Wait,
Um,
refine. Wait.
Refine is
It's the scheming seer?
yeah,
Yeah.
attacking creature connives X, where X is the number of attacking creatures you control. So it's just connive X. X is going to be like 3 or 4. That means that you can put up to 4 counters on Brigand. So you'll always just be able to attack, then tap, remove a counter, draw, tap, remove, counter, draw, repeat, repeat, repeat. You're drawing a card every single turn off of that. It's just a 2 mana 2/2 with vigilance, which is a decent sized body. For
Casual?
cash, I'd say casual just because heroic put a counter is pretty good. White can do some counter manipulation stuff, and giving white consistent draw early is really good because I'm gonna say even if you're just doing pay 1 white, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature and draw a card, and then you're going to get another counter on Brigand, attack for 4, then tap and draw another card. You're going to be able to keep doing that every single turn, pump more and more counters into Brigand, and draw an extra card every single turn for existing.
Brigon,
Pretty good.
I'm gonna say Brigon. Brigon with you.
Recon!
Brigon with you. All right, I say casual. Casual for creature.
Yeah,
Schmilly Vanilli, the
Schmella.
Miletian poet.
Schmella. Look Ben knows. He's a Schmella.
Schmella. Is he playing that flute with his nostrils right now?
It's
Uh,
like he's playing the guitar with the tongue, except with the nose.
yeah.
Instead of
So
it's
this
just
is
gonna be
This is the flute equivalent. It's like a, what is this, a pan flute? What is it when they're
Yeah,
all lined up like that? All right, never
it's
mind.
a pan flute.
Two generic and a white. Human bard, 1/1 body. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, create a 2/2 white nymph enchantment creature token. At the beginning of each combat, if you control 5 or more enchantments, gets +4/+4 and gains lifelink until end of turn. Man, if that was an anthem for all of your enchantments and him, that would have been so damn good. As an uncommon though, I understand. Great artwork, Kiki. Please explain what's going on. I think this is a D, Will.
Yeah, it's probably a D. I will say being able to get out more bodies quickly is pretty good, and the fact that you can cast just an enchantment and immediately get another enchantment means you're hitting 5 enchantments pretty quickly. Just a big dumb beating lifelinker is cool, but we have plenty of big dumb beater commanders. D.
Yeah, yeah. I do like the art though. I'm not joking about that.
Well, next we have probably the best mono white commander out of
Ooh.
this set. Uh, Koala. I'm gonna say Koala, even though it's the Q's probably silent and it's gonna be like Allah or something. But Koala, Johnny's Pride Mate, 3 and a white for a 3/3 legendary creature cat warrior with whenever Koala attacks, other creatures you control gain +X/+O, where X is the number of counters on Koala. Whenever you gain a life, put a +1/+1 counter on Koala. Pay 3 and a white to gain 1 life.
4
Um,
mana. Sorry.
I just want to say, Soul Sisters Tribal. Oh, don't worry. I'm just gonna play a creature, gain 4 life, put 4 counters on Koala. Play another creature, gain 4 more life, or probably 5 more life now. Put 5 more counters on Koala. Swing and give all of my creatures +9/+0 from just what I did this turn.
That's not bad.
I'm gonna honestly say B. This is probably good enough aggro that you can just do stacks and Soul Sisters and probably cheat out wins by saying, by the way, +9/+0 to all my creatures game.
How many Soul Sisters do we have?
A good amount. I think we have like around 10, including the 2 mana ones.
In
It's
white.
probably
In
closer to
white.
like 12. Yeah, it's I think if you include the 2 mana ones, it's like 12.
And you think with redundancy, this mono white list can get there.
Probably. I don't think it's good enough that it's going to see common play, but I think it's good enough that you can probably make it work in cEDH.
All right.
It's either super high power casual, insane, just wipe people off the face of the earth, or it's going to be super low level cEDH.
All right, guys. I'm gonna leave it to you, the audience. So I feel like it's more of a C, personally. I don't disagree with Will that the effect is potent, and it actually plays with something white does really well. Uh, just think of all the negligible cards that you've just like that have been in your chaff pile after a draft or something. Your sealed, your whatever
I
that
mean,
just
like
say
you,
gain life in white.
yeah.
There's so many, and the fact that it's not restricted by any means. But then again, gaining life isn't usually like it's not a strategy you play for in a competitive setting, unless you have Veladar Sovereign, which just gets there anyways, right? But at any rate,
I
uh,
forgot we just got like a new Soul Sister recently with Guild of Soul or Guide of Souls. So we probably have more than I'm thinking of.
and it's a warrior. Do you want to run a 4 cost warrior in your Najila though? I doubt. Mono white life
Probably.
gain. Let's go. Honestly, absolutely. Like I don't disagree. I think it could be either C or B, but I'm leaning C. Will's leaning B. You
Yeah.
guys can
I'm
vote on it though.
I'm looking through all the one drops that just say gain life right now,
It's a
and
lot.
there's actually like a decent amount of things that just say like, oh, when something enters gain life, or oh, lifelink, or oh, tap this gain a life. And honestly, that's good enough because if you tap something on one turn to attack with it next turn, fine. That's still gonna be a lot more power.
Aren't there life gain combos with that one vampire? Like it untaps when you gain life. It's
Yes,
a
but
vampire conquistador or something. Anyway,
yes.
there's something there. I'm sure that there are some infinite life gain
I
shenanigans that are
I
easy enough
don't
to
think
accomplish.
you don't go infinite with this. Once you
I
get
think
like
like
plus
consequently, I feel like you could probably hit some stupid infinite life gain thing.
think if you just give your stuff +6/+0, that's game. People are dead.
Maybe. I mean, they're not tramplers though. They're kind of limited.
I mean, yeah, but what are they going to do? Block with the two creatures against your deck that's built to only run 1 and 2 cost creatures to go wide?
We'll see. You know what? Maybe that's the next deck. But Thurid, Mare of Destiny, uh, definitely the next deck. We'll see. Look at all those protective runes for 2 generic and double white, 2/4 body, flying, lifelink. Whenever you cast a Pegasus, unicorn, or horse creature spell, copy it, and the copy becomes a token. Other Pegasi, unicorns, or horses you control get +1/+1. Holy shit, Will. Uh, Pegasi, unicorn, horse. What am I trying to say? Combo.
Shadowfax, show them the meaning of Shadowfax. Show them the meaning of.
Tribal. Oh my god, tribal. I'm without
Yeah.
words today. Thurid. I
I don't think there's enough creatures of those types to be viable, D, in my opinion.
Yeah. Does Thurid have 6 legs?
Yeah?
Thurid has 6 legs.
Hold up, let me open a new
No,
tab.
that's you don't even have to. Well, I'm
Yeah,
telling
yeah,
you.
you are 100% correct. That is a six-legged horse Pegasus right now.
Did do
Is
they?
it technically a horse or Pegasus, considering the fact that it has 6 legs? Wouldn't that make it some kind of beetle?
Yeah, this is a different exactly. The contrary to its subtyping, it's actually more of a beetle.
It's
Um,
actually a scoot. It is a member of the scoot swarm. Why do you think it makes token copies of things?
yes, all those little celestial horses back there are also scoots. Um,
Indeed.
yeah, this is a weird one. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna put this in D because I don't think that you have a leg to stand on like Thurid does many if you're running Pegasi, unicorns, and horses. Biblically accurate Pegasus. Bullshit. What? Stop.
I like that. That's funny. That is.
Is that I don't know. I haven't
No,
read the
no, it's
Bible.
like biblically accurate
Yeah.
angel meme.
Oh. Yeah, if only it's Selesnya. Even then,
Oh, if it was in Selesnya, maybe a bit more playable. But
as
even
a
then, I'd still probably say it's D.
as a mono white, you're gonna put that in the D. All right, guys, we still have that.
I'd probably put it in D even if it was Selesnya, but I'd be more willing to give it a C if it was Selesnya. But
So we're gonna finish off white here. I'll let Will read this one off, but I'll close the poll by the time we finish up with this card.
uh Erdinan or Erdinan?
Erdnan.
Erdinan.
Yeah, it's
Erdinan's
like the
is an
band
actual name. Yeah.
Franz Erdnan.
Yeah. So Erdinan, 1 and a white for a 1/1 legendary creature human warrior that says when Erdinan enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature with a +1/+1 counter on it gains first strike. If that creature until end of turn, if that creature has 2 or more +1/+1 counters on it, gain double strike instead. If this was your attacking creatures have first strike or double strike if they have more counters, I 100% say that this is a C. The fact that it's one thing gets double strike
Mm.
is eh.
Does it go into Kala or Ala? Quala?
So I think Erdnan is
Don't listen to me.
potentially still a C only because you can do easy Voltron with a 2 mana 2/2 or 2 mana 2/2 double striker.
If it has two
So
or more +1/+1 counters, they have to be +1 counters specifically. They couldn't just be counters.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, give him a double strike counter so that he can get double strike from his effect.
Right. That's not even what I mean. I mean, you can give it like flying counters. There's other shit that came out of Ikoria that wouldn't be horrible here. However, 2 mana 1/1, technically a 2 mana 2/2 with this. So basically it reads, and this is just an awkward. I can't help but feel there are better vanilla characters out there than this.
Yeah, it's just due to the fact that he is a low CMC commander that technically has double strike. That's what maybe makes him viable.
No,
But the thing is, like,
blonde.
you could just play Rayav, which is a Boros commander that says whenever creature you control that's enchanted or whip attacks, gain double strike.
No, I'm just recommending
That's better. That's
Balon
just better.
Balon Wandering Knight, and if you want the cute wolf girl version of Balon, use that instead. Yeah, I would recommend Balon Wandering Knight if you want to have something with double strike, because she's a 4/3/3 first strike to begin with. And then if you're going to do Voltron anyways, well, guess what? She auto equips them. And guess what? She also gets double strike and whatever the hell else is on your equipment. I love playing Blonde. It's such a fun deck.
Yeah.
This is a previous Jumpstart card as well, apparently. Wow, they just made a lesser version of Balon. Although I don't think Balon originally came, excuse me, from Jumpstart. That's
No,
just the reprint.
Balon. I think Balon might have come in the cat deck, the cEDH cat deck.
There you go. If you want to play cats, play Balon instead. Franz Erdnan, you are going
D.
into the D pile. Sorry, my friend.
I'm taking
Um,
this next one as well, just to bring up the meme that we discussed before the
oh shit.
stream.
Oh, but
Uh,
before that, we are gonna sadly move your boy to C.
Aw.
Sorry, but your girl here.
Yes. Hatsune Miku Jelly Drover.
Yes. They
uh,
missed the opportunity with the secret lair drop.
I know. 3 and a blue for a legendary creature, human wizard with 2 power and 2 toughness. Whenever this enters or dies, you create a 1/1 jellyfish creature token with flying,
Huh.
and creatures you control with flying have +1/+1. 4 mana Anthem Commander that can also make some tokens.
There's a theme here with foundations.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how I feel about this,
this
man.
is a D only because we already have kind of better flying or we have better flying based commanders, we have better token
Yeah,
commanders. This is
this
kind of
is
like a poor man's half and half of both.
yeah, this is a D for Drover for sure. And does she know that jellyfish is poisonous?
I don't know.
She's about to find out.
Indeed.
You can take this next one too. Well, actually, I need water.
Kiora, the Rising Tide. Kiora has been desparked. Let's go.
Hey,
Um, 2 and a blue for a 3/2 legendary creature, Merfolk Noble. I think this is the first Merfolk Noble we've had.
fact.
Interesting. When Kiora enters, draw 2 and discard 2. Threshold. When Kiora attacks, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you create Scion of the Deep, a legendary 8/8 blue octopus creature token. Now,
Can we get the token? Oh shit! Look at that token. They actually made a token
yeah,
for this,
that's
Will. This is monumental. Foundations. We're gonna
a
cover
pretty
your
cool
token
token.
game for you.
I
It is a
will
cool
say,
token.
I wish the token was not legendary, but that would break the crap out of standard because this
Yeah.
is just 3 mana, make an 8/8 every turn.
No, no, no,
That
no.
would crush standard.
No, no, no,
So
no,
I
no, no.
know why it has to be legendary.
No, 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 no.
Um,
It's good.
the
It's
fact
good by itself, though.
you can probably do some like cares about power thing with this commander and
Yeah.
abuse the ever loving heck out of the fact that you can make an 8/8 every turn.
Aren't aren't there things that make you mill based off of power or something? Or
Something I'm mostly in Demir, but
you're looting
there's
already, so there's plenty of ways to fill up your graveyard to hit thresholds.
yeah, I do think there's definitely because you can easily hit threshold. You're in blue, you're hitting threshold no matter what, without any kind of problem. And you're making the 8/8. I don't know how many outlets there are for blue. They have the equipment that's when the equipped creature connects to draw that many cards. Or draw cards equal to damage. I think that this is a C because you can definitely abuse the fact that you're cheating out an 8/8 pretty easily and pretty early. Um, I don't know how great of a C it's going to be, but it's C for the Rising Tide. Tis
I
the
like it.
C.
I think it like if you want to have fun with a big octopus, you can get there pretty easily, and I could see this being a fun list to manipulate because let me see this. Attacks if there are this cards here. Yeah, you just a little bit of setup prior, and then you're kind of there. Like if you just have Lightning Greaves out, you can keep her protected, attack the same turn.
If there was a blue greater good, frickin' 100% C.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. Preston, I love the borderless art for Kiora. It looks amazing. It looks so good. Oh my god, I completely agree. This looks fantastic, dude. Also, you see the little octopus in the image. C for cephalid. Um, and James Stutz, yeah. So we typically will rank these, and as we mentioned off the bat here, based off of how well they would be in a competitive setting, because that's what we play. However, we are covering these in a casual sense as well. That's what that C category is for. If we want to separately state, like, I think that rating these in terms of what is useful for new players, or how do you say? It's like I can't tell you how fun Kiora would be for you. I look at her and I think she would be fun, and I would play her casually. Would she be effective? Like Will was saying, maybe not as much as the next mono blue legendary, but there's a lot of things here that are very subjective. So one thing that's subjectively true is the stat lines, the effects. So we're really just going to base these off of those instead of things that are more subjective. I hope that makes sense. Okay. But this card, I think you like, Will.
Yeah, this is an interesting card. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I know that they're inevitably going to print a card that is going to break this. But I don't know when. But trust me, at some point, this card's going to go from like a however many dollar card to like a 60, $70 card.
Right. Oh, do you want me? Oh, here, Near
Yeah,
Deeve. Near
you can
Deeve.
cover this. I covered the last two.
The Devious Diva. For 2 generic and a blue 2/2 body, Merfolk Rogue. Whenever Near Devious Diver becomes tapped, target player mills cards equal to its power. Okay, well, there you go. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard or activate an ability of a card in your graveyard, draw a card and put a +1/+1 counter on Near Deeve. So, in mono blue, there are cards that have activated abilities from the graveyard, like those exist. If she were in Demir, amazing. Um, but she's not. And other than like flashback, maybe jumpstart, maybe are there? I'm trying to think of blue cards that would leverage this ability just outright. There, I know what you're saying though. I can't think of a A+B broken line off
It,
the top of my head.
there is none right now, but we're inevitably going to get that Basalt Monolith for this Mesmeric Orb Commander. We're eventually
Right.
hitting that point where we just get the, oh, 0 mana, reveal a blue card in your hand, and then you can exile this from your graveyard to scry one. Something like that.
Right.
We'll get a card that it's exiling is not part of the cost, it's part of the resolution, and then you'll just go draw my deck.
Yeah, or just some busted card that's in your grave that says, I can't believe there's not some old ass card with like a 0 cost activated ability. Look at one card from your opponent's hand, exile this card afterwards. Or it's some nonsense like that we could just like do it, just do it infinitely.
It's just like, oh, an artifact that says pay 0, exile all cards from all graveyards, only activate while this is in your graveyard.
Right, right, and then basically put that on the stack, put that on the stack, put that on the stack.
So Mateus said you can break this with Dredge, no? So Dredge is a triggered ability, not activated ability. Actually, Dredge isn't even a triggered ability, it's a replacement ability.
Right.
But you
I'll
can
just look up
probably
Dakmar salvage just to show you guys. Sorry.
storm off using some kind of Dredge. I think Dredge is more Golgari than it is in blue. I don't know how many
Yeah, this was
good
not a great example. I looked
cards.
up Dakmar salvage. This is like the one dredge card that I think most people will know.
Yeah, I'm
That
gonna
and the
quickly look
Golgari
up
Grave Troll,
Dredge.
or there's a couple things.
In blue, there are 0 Dredge cards,
Mm.
so no.
I know. I really wish Neardeep was sadly in Demir, but she's not. Is she
Or
D?
even Simic, if Simic would be good enough as well.
Is she D for devious? Like, or is she doing
So,
enough?
Near Div is still potentially good enough to be cEDH because of stuff like Liar. Liar says spells can't be countered, and cards in your graveyard have flashback. Or instants and sorceries in your graveyard have flashback,
Hmm.
which means that you can storm off pretty easily. There is enough stuff from your graveyard that you can keep a handful with Near Div. The question is, how are you going to close out the game? And maybe it's just going to be mill, because if you can tap and untap Near Div infinitely, you deck everybody out, and there are some mono blue combos that let you do that. In addition to the fact that she will keep your graveyard filled, so you
Hmm.
can keep
This is like a
digging through your deck by both milling yourself and by just activating things from your graveyard. I
sh-
think Near Div is a B only because you can actually draw a good amount of cards with Near Div. Or Near
right.
Div.
near Div, but I mean, you're sinking a lot of mana into making this work. What's fortunate for you is that you can use that. What's that? High Tide. You can use High Tide for this. Is this the legendary to bring back Snapcaster Mage? Do you remember when Snapcaster Mage was in every deck? I
Yeah,
do.
it's still in
I
like
do.
some decks, but
Oh,
it's yeah.
Will, don't you lie to me.
It
Don't
is.
you show me the deck. Show
In
me the
my
deck.
local game store, like about a quarter of blue decks run Snapcaster.
Good for the wow. Okay, I haven't seen Snap. He's just gone missing. You know,
Yeah.
there's still posters up on the
He's
on
on
the
the
subway
milk
walls.
cartons.
Yeah, yeah. He's still no one's found him. I didn't
I
know. I didn't know he was found.
I
All
will
right.
say that with just Liar being wizard and blue having wizard tutors, I think Near Dave is probably a B. But
All right. Well, I'm leaning C. I don't see like I've seen mono blue played, and it's a difficult climb. But I
we can
agree
put it up
that
to
she has
chat.
a huh.
We can put it up to chat.
Yeah, this one's gonna go up to chat. I mean, I'm seeing B. Sorry, Will's seeing B. I'm seeing C. I don't think it goes below or above that. So if
Yeah,
you
there is
wanna make a
no way
suggestion,
that I'm going to argue A.
yeah.
I'm not arguing A until we get the A plus B combo.
What's the name of that Lear?
Yeah, Lear or Liar.
Lya is it's Lyre. Enchant and entrancing lyre.
I think so. Let
You
me.
may choose
He's a
not to
legendary.
untap entrancing.
No, it's a Liar disciple of the
Oh,
ground.
that one.
Also,
Each
uh,
that's
with
a
the way that you
5
said
mana. Sorry.
with the way you said liar, I don't know why, but it made me think of the Star Wars quote of just.
Wait, which whoa.
I think that's Anakin
Oh
when
yeah,
Darth
yeah,
Vader is talking to him.
yeah. Yes.
Is either that or sorry, Luke, not
This is
Anakin.
post, yeah. Well, this is well, the
No,
Anakin's there. Anakin's
that was
there too,
Anakin.
Will. Spoiler
Yeah, no,
alert.
it was. I think it was an Anakin quote. I think it was Anakin
To
being told
Obi-Wan?
it's him talking to Windu, and Windu's like, "That guy's a Sith. I don't care that he said he can bring your wife back. He's a Sith. He's evil."
But I also think that Luke says it too. I
No,
think Luke says it to
well,
his dad, like post hand cutting.
well, yes, Luke says something along the lines, but the
I am your
iconic
father.
the no, he says,
Is it?
"No, that's
He's
not possible."
okay. You're right. You're right.
But
You're right.
yeah, Luke says no. Anakin says liar. Yeah, it's Anakin angrily going, "Liar!" That's it. That's like the facial expression and everything.
Shit. You, my God, you're making me want to rewatch. I really like the prequel trilogy. You can hate me for that, but those were my Star Wars movies growing up. To date myself, because I don't mind. Also, uh, the first movie with pod racing. It's enough for me.
That's
I
what
just
I call pod race. I still remember the Brew Wars where you guys talked about that Star Wars trilogy, and you just were like playing out the game while being like, "If you can say the movies with Jar Jar in them were good, you are not my friend anymore." And you like just a whole back and forth of viciously browbeating each other with
Char.
all the like anti and positive Star Wars back and forth.
Well, I mean, relative to what we've been fed recently, I think we all can look back fondly on the original
Yeah,
trilogy, honestly. And speaking of Sith Lords, Darth Lord Plagueon, Lord of the Beach.
Plague the Wise.
Yes. Starfish Wizard. No more lurking in the shallows. We ride. 0/3 body. When Plagueon enters, draw a card for each creature you control with toughness greater than its power. Huh. That includes Plagueon. You can use, I was going to say Celestia mana. That is Azorius. Target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power this turn. This is interesting because this has been historically like an Ent ability, a tree folk ability. It's
It's
been
been a
attacked.
historically green ability more
Right,
than anything else.
right. Yeah, furthermore, that. So this is weird. But you know what's nice though is that blue does have a lot of blue's got a lot of big booties in its lineup, man. I don't know if
White
you
has a crap ton as well. Name any stacks card and it's usually like a one
yeah.
blank.
Right. Even Dreadeth Magistrate, he's got a big butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eidolon of Rhetoric. Phyrexian Censor is a 3/3, I think, but you have Archon of Myria.
So
Archon of Myria is pretty good.
what are you suggesting? Well, what are
I
you
will
suggesting?
I will say flickers. Ghostly Flicker just being 1 mana, draw 5, 6 cards is insane. Because
Right.
once you get any kind of board state going with this, you're paying 1 mana to refill your entire hand and probably hitting another flicker that lets you play out your hand and then refill your entire hand again and again and again. You can probably build a pretty good storm deck with this. You can build a pretty good stacks deck with this. There's a lot of potential here. It's not going to be like a really fast turbo deck, but you're in the colors that let you control the game. So you can kind of wait and be a little bit controlly until you go,
Ooh.
I have 5 creatures in play.
Sorry, I just
I'm
want
going
to
to play
point
my
out.
commander. I'm going to draw 6. I'm going to flicker. I'm going to draw 6 more. I'm going to flicker. I'm going to draw 6 more. From here, I'm going to play creature. Flicker, draw 10, draw 10, draw 10
Right,
game.
right, right. And what's your exit strategy? Just Thassa's Oracle.
Honestly, yeah, if you draw enough cards, just go for Thorcall.
0/1 tokens count. Yes, they do, Abzo. And Aggro Creeper is just pointing out something interesting. Don't look at the comments. Well, wait. Ah, damn it.
Too late. It's too late.
No, I was gonna
But
ask you. I'm like, how much? Well, you said $20+ here on Scryfall. It says they're selling at least averaging right now 37.89 for Near Div. That is insane.
I think
Um.
these the anime cards are all low printing, so they're higher cost.
Oh, well, that explains it, I suppose. But I think this is definitely a B. Plagon of the B. B for beach. And B
I
for that cute ass turtle.
I think he is maybe an A. Only
There's
because I can honestly, he is one of the better Azorius control commanders. Because one, this is less relevant now, but he is mana crypt cost. I know that's
yeah.
completely irrelevant
I
now.
know, I know, I know. I was thinking that too. I'm like, oh my god, I could turn one, but like you wouldn't even want to turn one this. You want to
Yeah,
turn one everything else and then play this. But yeah, it's a sad time.
but he's 1 pip, so he's not hard to play. His entire game plan is play all of the good creatures in your colors and slow down the game, and then once you've stopped one person from winning because you're running every counter spell that you can reasonably run, you eventually just go, okay, I'm gonna play my commander, completely refill my hand, hit a flicker, storm off game. So
You know,
you just pivot from being the really stacksy control deck to being boom, I win.
you know what's sad? This is the best. This is the best legendary to assign combat damage based off of toughness, and you're
And you're never doing
never
that.
gonna use it. Yeah, you're never gonna activate that ability. Really, really good though. I am close to saying A potentially. I do think that this is a really interesting Azorius commander with draw attached to it. Um, so far as like the flicker effects you'd actively want to use though, I mean, you don't really want to jam every form of essence flux or ghostly
I,
flicker.
you play all of the 1 mana
The
ones
white
because
the white
most
ones are good actually. The white ones are pretty solid. And
yeah.
the one that was it not ephemerate? Is that the one with rebound?
Ephemerate's the one with rebound, yeah.
Right, like that's the shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah. Okay. Here's what I want to do. It seems like people are B on Near Div. So we're gonna put Near Div up there. I do think that Plagon deserves a little bit more of discussion in the chat. If you guys have feelings on Plagon, Lord of the Beach, let us know where you land on this guy. I'm going to set this up to a vote. Plagon, Lord of the Rings. It just auto corrected to Lord of the Rings, so I'm gonna accept that. But Plagon, where do you want Plagon? A, B.
He's a draw commander. He can be Lord of the Rings.
There you go. I'm gonna go 3 here. Maybe we're just dead wrong about Plagon, and you only see it as being
There
casual.
is
But
no way that he's gonna be just C. Like, granted, yes, you can do your Ornithopter tribal deck and then just be like, I play all of my 0 costs that have big butts, and
oh,
then I draw a ton, and
Shield
you storm
Sphere,
that
and
way.
that's kind of sick too, though. But you wouldn't really want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's okay. So, guys, feel free to vote on this. Will says A. I definitely think a firm B for Beach. Let us know where you land. Lord of the pool rings. Yes, Lord of the inflatable rings. For now, he's gonna rest up an S though. Oh
Also, I forgot to say, now that's what I call turtle racing.
my god.
There we go.
Wait, is everyone on a turtle? Okay. I just want to say this is my favorite art from the set. If you've ever played on the GameCube a little game called Baten Kaitos. I don't know why, but this is reminding me of that JRPG very, very much so. I love this art. The card, though, I'll
All right,
I'll
it's the
let you read
next
it, Will.
guy,
I'll let you disappoint me.
Paul. I'm gonna call him Paul because Pol, he's Paul. So
Paul.
Paul is a 4 blue for a 4/5 flying legendary creature, human illusion wizard. And when Paul enters the battlefield, choose a creature type for each creature of that type you control. Sorry, for each creature, draw a card for each creature of
Oh,
that type. Yeah, that is different wording than usual. But yes, he is ETB. Name a creature type, draw equal to that creature type. I will say, in casual, this is going to be going into the 99 of a crap ton of decks because if you're playing tribal and you're in blue, this is going to be 6 mana, draw like 8,
yeah.
which is good enough in casual. In competitive, though, no.
No, and
Um,
we're
and,
speaking
and
specifically of the CZ, and it's like this is something that Green typically does as well, where they look for a board. It's typically based on power or pips or
can I
some or
say
right, but like this
what?
is kind of like isn't this sort of like the Regal Beagle? It's not Regal Beagle, the Regal it's also 6 cost.
Yeah, can I just point out like this is a horrible commander to not be in green for that elf ball strategy.
Right. That'd be sick. If this was an elf illusion wizard, that would be amazing. Wizard tribal, I mean, you can yeah, maybe illusion tribal. This is
Uh,
just mage
you
Ike.
you name a token
Yes.
that you can generate pretty easily, and then he
This is
does that. That's probably what he does. Like you can do Thopter, you can do Psymaster Thopters, make a bunch of Thopters and draw like that. But there are better blue draw commanders like Curie.
hmm.
So nah.
Do you wish you could just say any creature? Like it didn't have to be a creature you control. Like if you're facing an Agila, you could be like warrior,
Wiz Warrior,
right?
eat it.
Yeah,
That'd
right.
be good.
And then you deck yourself. You're like, oh shit, that was fast. This is a less good draw engine than Plagon.
Can I also really quickly just say I'm gonna find it right now because I've been trying to find this one card so I can name drop it, but for some reason I can't find it. Uh, Tishana. This is
Deshaun. Oh.
this is literally Tishana, except you're down a color and you have a maximum hand size. It's one Tishana's one more mana.
Tishana's just better though.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to name shit. You don't need to name. You're just like, hey, is that a creature?
I mean, granted,
Congratulations.
if you had to name something with Tishana, you'd name elves, but yeah.
Right. Draw one with Brushwag. Yeah. Yeah, this
D D.
MTG Ike is gonna get a D. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I do see Ike now, by the way.
If by any chance my friend Paul is watching this, sorry Paul, but Paul sucks.
Just a little bit. Just a lot of it actually. And guys, we have it before the SLD. We have an in-universe.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja
Do you
Turtles. This
think
creature will enter tapped turtle power.
do you think that teenage is going to be a subtype for the Mutant Ninja Turtles? Is it going
I
to be?
feel
Is it needs to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
yeah, we
Yeah.
have mutant. They
We do
totally
have
could
mutant.
have made this a mutant.
We do have mutant. I don't think that this. I'm joking. I don't think that this is a Ninja Turtle in advance of a secret lair. At least not that we've seen announced. But Tycho, the Patient Avalanche. What a sick ass name for a street generic and a blue 4/5 body turtle ninja. Tycho, the Patient Avalanche enters tapped. Ah, poo. Let's It's whatever. Oh, hey, Plague On, withdraw. Whenever another creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it didn't die, scry 1 and put a +1/+1 counter on second. This goes into the body of that deck if it wasn't Dimir. Whenever you attack, you may pay Dimir. When you do, target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. I don't know. I really think a guy.
He's unblockable. He's unblockable, and he can make himself kind of bigger. Interesting, Demir Voltron Commander. He's not buffing himself that much very frequently. It feels like you're trying to do several different things. And if you want a good Demir Voltron Commander, use the new Nashi. Use the Duskmoor Nashi.
Oh
That's
my
just better.
god. Aggro creepers pointed. Yeah. Yeah. Those are Shredder's Greaves. The little spiked Greaves.
Oh
This is
yeah,
straight yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. I didn't even notice that. Um but yes. This is straight up TMNT character. This is bad though. It with a guy named like with a name like Avalanche, I'd expect a little bit more, but he called himself that, so what were you expecting?
I will say that somebody's probably going to make a pet deck with him in casual just to
For sure.
like spam flicker stuff or bounce stuff and then make him really big and attack pay 1 and make it so he can't be blocked and kill somebody.
I'm sorry. We're on D though, right?
Yeah, I'd say D.
Just use arcane adaptation. Oh god, you said the word will.
Oh yeah, that's for the other one. Yeah, the Paul. You just use arcane adaptation, so every creature is an eyeball, and
No,
then you name eyeballs.
just the word arcane. Guys, Netflix tomorrow. Little PSA for y'all. Arcane's back tomorrow.
Nice.
You're welcome for your reminder.
Well,
I will be watching it with Allie at some point during the day. I'm so excited for it though. I've been waiting a long time. But no, it's gonna be. Oh, I cannot wait. Okay. That's it for blue. That's it for blue, which means
we're entering black, and we're gonna
play
start off with a
play.
commander
Oh,
I
sorry.
really like.
Sorry. That means Plagon's poll has ended, and it's 71%. We have B.
Uh,
Although A was a close second, tied for second. All right, well, I actually
we
really
have
like this. Oh, sorry, not this one. Never mind. The next one. Go for it.
yeah. Well, I really like this one for casual because holy crap, it is super brutal. Ophelia, Viper Whisperer. 1 in a black for a legendary creature, Gorgon Assassin, with 1 power, 3 toughness, and death touch. Whenever Ophelia attacks, you may pay 1 in a Golgari, so this is green and black. If you do, you create a 1/1 black snake creature token with death touch. Also, you may pay 4 in a black, and until end of turn, whenever 1 or more Gorgons and or snakes you control deal combat damage to a player, that player loses half of their life rounded up. Now, 2 reasons why this is so brutal. 1, you can attack without having to worry because you are going to have a death touch blocker in the end no matter what. 2, 3 reasons why it's brutal. 2, it's building up your own board to work with the third effect. And 3, that last effect can stack. If you activate it more than once, you're chunking people for even more health because you'll get 2 triggers of it. Meaning that with all those snakes that you've been building and all that mana that you've been building up because you're in green, you'll eventually just go, oh, by the way, you got hit with one thing. I activated the effect twice. You're going to go from 40 to 20, then 20 to 10. You lost 3/4 of your life total. So in casual, this is one of the most aggressive commanders that we've seen in a while. For competitive, you're probably going to be doing better things in Golgari.
Yeah, what's sad is like Golgari doesn't really have a great. It's like Slimefoot and Squee right now. Or no,
Slimefoot and
that's
Squeeze jumped.
one. It's one better technically.
Uh,
What's Golgari's main squeeze right
Golgari
now?
has Gitrog, Old Stick Fingers, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I would say C. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I'd say C.
With first
Brutal
strike, it's
C, but C.
with first strike it half twice. Hmm.
No. With well, yeah, you're saying give one thing first strike so that it connects rounds, then connect a non first strike one connects, and then rounds down again. Yes, that can work. Double strike will let you do the same thing a little bit easier. I don't think you need to do that though. You are setting people to single digits over like one turn. It is So brutal.
I love Rakdos. Not gonna lie, kind of a fan of this next one. This looks like something out of one of the Fate series. Pick your favorite, I guess. But she looks like a character out of the Fate series. I think it's a she. Evereth,
But really quick,
Viceroy of Plunder.
to
Oh,
go
oh,
back to
oh.
the other card, and I saw that you hovered over it for a second, but I do want to bring it
Which,
up. Love
which?
that snake token. That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a good looking snake token.
yeah. I mean, I think it's from Modern Horizons though.
It
This
is,
one's
and I'm disappointed that I did not realize that before, but I like that snake token.
well. We've been needing them for the Geomancer as well, though. So I mean, I think we've got. No, is this really the only? Hold up. Wow, Modern Horizons 3 Geomancer. Look at you. Took so damn long. I like that they make the tokens for the cards in their game. Good job, Wizards. I think that's appreciated. Double strike and Golgari. Yeah, I know. I mean, you can use equipment. There's got to be some piece of equipment that gets you there.
There's a couple pieces of equipment that give double strike. You have the one thing that I can never remember the name of, but it's a weird torch mouth thing on a stick, and then you
Oh,
have
Fire
the
Shrieker.
yeah, Fire Shrieker, Brass Knuckles, and
Yeah,
Grappling
yeah,
Hook.
yeah. There you go.
I
See?
play Voltron way too much in casual. I
Double
know all of it.
strike. Double strike in Golgari, but Evereth, we don't give a shit about that because we're Rakdos for 2 generic and a black, 2/2 body, flying because we're a vampire. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Put so like you could just play a dockside and put a 1/1 counter on Evereth, Viceroy of Plunder. If the sacrifice permanent was a treasure, Evereth gains lifelink until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Well, that's fine. We probably don't care about that. We're mostly interested in it as just a sack outlet, I think, in some cases. But whenever Evereth dies, you may pay generic and Rakdos. Whenever you do, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So this is an outlet. You're sacrificing another creature, mind you. So it's like you can't sacrifice Evereth this way. But the secondary trigger is something that you can leverage with infinite mana to just nuke the board. So if you have, I guess what I'm saying is, if you have a way to manipulate Evereth for mana, uh, in doing so, you can then use that mana to kill the board. It's almost like having what is that one card? It's that enchantment that's in some decks. That's a payoff. White enchantment Orzhov ability, and the ability is called, I forget. You pay either a white or a black, and you do 1 damage to each of your opponents. I forget the name of the enchantment. At any rate, I like this. I think
Uh,
this is an interesting path commander. I haven't thought about the combos for this, but I do like it.
yeah, generally just a really good commander because I want to point out like a couple things. So obviously, if you can do some kind of sack infinite and then find some way of killing your commander, pay 1 and then a Rakdos to deal that damage to each opponent, you win based off of just doing that. There's probably some sack loops that you can do, but also, this commander works well in a really good way because if you sacrifice a treasure, she gets lifelink. Then when she dies, that last effect has lifelink, so you are going to gain triple her power back as life.
It's kind of dope. I mean, I guess you can pretty easily use like a Phyrexian Altar line. That wouldn't be so horrible. Um, uh, Obviously, a lot of the payoffs that would have been neat here are gone, namely Dockside. But and I don't mind that. I don't mind that being gone.
If if there was some good way of getting Forsaken Miner to go infinite here, that would be a really good way of using this commander. But the only loops that you have are like Piteous Plunder plus something else, and then you
Mm,
need, and then at that point you're just doing the Forsaken Miner lines and using this as like a half sack outlet. But usually your sack outlets are your win cons, or your sack outlets make the mana, and then you have anything else be a win con.
right.
So
So she really just wants a sack outlet line that makes infinite mana that allows you to sacrifice her and pay for the effect. Because it sort of eliminates needing to have that sack outlet be an outlet.
I will say though, if you have something like Veto in play and
Mm,
you sacrifice a treasure, have her die, then you pay the 2 mana, you're probably killing a player or two players because you're dealing, let's say, 10 mana or 10 damage to each opponent. So each opponent takes 10, then you deal 30 damage to target opponent because you gain 30 life.
Veto, Thorn of the Duskros.
Yeah, just when you gain life, deal that much damage to target opponent.
I like it. I mean, I think it could be B tier. I think it's on the low end. I don't
Yeah,
know that this is
it's
better than any
it's
other
a
Arctic.
functional pet deck. It's kind of like Flame War, but Flame War is draw cards and requires like a weird balancing act, whereas Evereth is just kind of get your board, do what you want to do in Rakdos, and then just go to win the game.
Right. There aren't that. Mm, right. I like it. I like it enough. But we can
Yeah,
move on. I think it's definitely
I
in the B range.
I will say, pretty good Turbo Nos commander, because if you are just sacking a bunch of things and gaining 30 life, Nos wins the game. So Turbo Nos. I'll go with Turbo Nos and call it B.
How about Fumulus?
Fumulus should be an F tier, but we don't have an F tier. But let's read them out
Damn.
anyways. 3 and a black for a 2/2 legendary creature with flying and death touch, and the only reason why this is a notable commander, vampire insect. Memes galore. Whenever a player sacrifices a non-token creature, you create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. Whenever a list of creature types you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Hmm.
The only deck that this is going to see play in is Yawgmoth Thran Physician because it is one of the things that goes infinite with Undying Things and Yawgmoth. Screw it, still not a good card.
Yeah, it's a weird one. D?
Yeah, D.
Yeah, D.
Yeah, yeah. You're not that guy, pal. You're
How
not that guy.
about how about Nazar, the Velvet Fang? For 3 generic and a black vampire warlock, 3/3 Bade Menache. Whenever you gain life, put a feeding counter on. That's a new one. Put a feeding counter on Nazar, the Velvet Fang.
It's his Eon counter, the counter that only he has and nothing else.
That's his ego counter. Whenever Nazar attacks, you may remove 3 feeding counters. 1 feeding counter. If you
Two
do
feeding counter, three feeding
three,
counter.
and if you do that,
Ah, ah.
you lose. What the fuck? You draw 3 cards, yes, but you lose 3 life.
You've been gaining life. You gained 3 life or more, apparently, so
That doesn't
you have
make
the
any
life.
sense. Oh, does it just so like you when you relinquish the feeding counters, it's like you are getting hungry again, and that makes you that
I've got the munchies. Ah,
That's
ah,
exactly what this
ah.
is. I like the art. I like the high pony. You go, girl. I don't know how I feel about the card.
I wish this was 3 mana because it is currently competing with Timna and losing.
Yeah. Well, it's not limited. So Nazar doesn't even have lifelink.
The thing is, you are sans 1 color on base and sans the partner mechanic. Bad Timna. Really bad Timna.
Bad Timna. Bad. Nazar
Bad. Just
goes right in
rolled
the
up paper.
yeah, exactly. Slap. Ah! Ah! Let's just slap this Nazar.
Is that
I
holy water?
yeah,
Are you
Nazar
cooking
gets a D.
breakfast on my smoldering corpse? Can I have
Nazar
some?
Nazar gets a D. Gets a big fat D, but Will, how about Ozox?
First off, most metal name. Ozox. 2 and a black for a legendary creature, Skeleton Noble, with 3 power and 2 toughness. Ozox cannot block. When Ozox dies, create a Jumble Bones legendary. Or hold on. Oh, sorry. Create Jumble Bones, a legendary creature token with 2 power, 1 toughness, black, a skeleton, and it says that this cannot block. When this creature leaves the battlefield, return Ozox from your graveyard to your hand. There
Hold
is prob
I just want to state that there is no Jumble Bones legendary
Token.
token, but
It's
to
just a skeleton, 2/1
they
skeleton.
just highlight this 2-1 skeleton and they're like, well, that's close enough.
Good enough. The
But
skeleton does not even say it can't block, but
right,
good
but
enough.
it's up to you, the player, to name it Jumble Bones and give it this cannot be blocked or this cannot
You
block.
you have to take responsibility for it. Make sure to take your jumble bones for a walk. It's your responsibility. I will say so. Immediately, a lot of my friends read this card, misread it, and then said, "Oh my gosh, it goes infinite so easily. Any sack outlet gives you infinite because when you sacrifice the Jumble Bones token, this goes from your graveyard to your battlefield." I'm like, no, no, no. Reread the card.
Yeah,
Second time around, everybody went, "Oh, it might be playable." It's an interesting card. It's not a good commander, I will say, D.
yeah. Poor guy. Ozox goes infinite with the two artifacts, sacrifice artifacts that make mana. Um, oh, you need both out? What do you mean? Well, you're gonna sacrifice,
So
you're gonna have both Phyrexian and Ashnod's
yeah,
Altar on the
Phyrexian
field.
Ashnod's Altar, because you sacrifice the Jumble Bones token for a black and you sacrifice Ozox for 2 colors, and then you get him back into play with that 3 mana repeat, repeat, repeat. You can also do
Oh
Piteous
man.
Plunderer plus Ashnod's Altar. That does it as well and gives you infinite mana. You also have like a handful of other things that will let you get there. Ozox has potential. Ozox can probably combo off, but Ozox is literally just run all of the aristocrats infinite combos and then jumble something together. I think the coolest thing that you can do with Ozox is you run the thing that says your creature spells cost 2 less, your creatures have -1/-1, and then that will let you sacrifice Ozox for Phyrexian Altar, and then the Jumble Bones token immediately dies and you get Ozox back, and then you replay Ozox for 1, and then you sacrifice him to the altar again. Um, Maybe Ozox goes in C, maybe B, because you do have infinite combos. There's a whole bunch of different lines that you can go for, but you're just running a bunch of weird black combos. Play Crick. Play Crick over Ozox.
Yeah, Ozox gets a D.
I'll
But it's
I'll
really
give him a
great if you it's
I'll
really
give
great.
him a C for Clattering King and the fact that he does have combos. So
Oh,
he has
well.
bad combos, but he has combos. He's viable and
Well,
casual.
Will Ozox sounds like a scam drug that I've definitely seen a commercial for during the World Series. Like it's not
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion. Try Ozox.
exactly.
Um,
Uh,
Ozox may lead to repeatable death over and over and over and over and over again while being put on Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar.
it may cause your bones to jumble. Not Ozox is B. You can do stuff. Mateus, get out of here.
Yes,
Just not good. Just not
you
good
can
stuff.
definitely do stuff with Ozox. The issue is that like you are doing
Oh my
4 card
god.
combos with one of your with your commander being one of the cards, so 3 card combos.
Guys, I want to
Do
talk about the
anything else.
girl. I want
Do
to talk about the
anything
girl with the
else.
bangs, please.
Yeah,
Let's do this instead. Whatever.
yeah,
Wait. Rev. Tithe Extractor.
yeah.
Did you read? You read Ozox. For 3 generic and a black 3/3 body human rogue. Whenever you attack, target creature gains death touch until end of turn. Oh fuck yeah. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. Then look at the top of that player's library and exile it face down. You may cast that card as long as it remains exiled. Guess what? You got Ragavan, baby, for 4 mana.
Here's the thing: it's Ragavan, except you can hit multiple creatures, and
I
your Ragavan
know.
doesn't have to be the one attacking.
I know, it's kind of sick actually. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat
Also,
damage to a player.
also that card you yoink is playable forever, and it never goes into graveyard or anything like that. It's just playable in exile forever, which is pretty
Well,
nice.
well, if it
And
if you do cast it, it will go to their graveyard. Yeah.
yes, but
Rev.
I really like Rev as a commander, at least for casual. For cEDH, it's steal your opponent's dot deck. That doesn't really work for cEDH because you need to build a game plan to actually win. I'll
I
say
like it.
C, But let me explain why C, because there are several dumb things you can do with the commander. First off, you're making 3 treasures every turn, which is already good enough as a commander. On top of that, you're stealing people's stuff, which is once again really, really good. And then finally, that first effect is actually way more brutal than anybody will give credit for because it is whenever you attack, give target creature death touch until end of the turn. Does not have to be an attacking creature, meaning that if you have any pinger effect or any mass ping effect, that is a reusable board wipe. Quimbodge Witches is just going to fuck up people's day. There's
Are you gonna run Rev and Najila? Hold up.
uh potentially that's not horrible. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player. Um if you can stagger because Nigila gives first strike, right?
That's a good question.
Trample, lifelink, and haste. No.
Sadly.
So you get 3 treasures, which is nearly enough to go infinite. It's kind of like what's the other guy? The black guy. Um, the one that makes 2 treasures instead of the one, like Rev does, but doesn't impulse draw other people's decks. It's
Oh, yeah, I know what
a
you're
Grim
talking
Hireling.
about.
Grim Hireling. It Rev is like a worse Grim Hireling. Um, So yeah, Rev can go in Najeela to some extent, but you need to get warriors with first strike to be able to go infinite. Interesting. You're also just stealing people's decks and using it. Oh, actually, no, that's freaking brutal now that I think about it. You're paying 2 mana to get extra combats, keep stacking up Najeela, and stealing the top cards of each person's library over and over and over again. Rev is like kind of a 2 mana draw 3 and double your board in Najeela. That's pretty good, actually.
How is she by herself though? As a mono black commander, probably a
See,
C.
see, because a whole crap ton of utility, really good ramp and card draw. Really good for C, not good enough
Hmm.
for B.
All that card draw, so you know it's
I'm
good.
I'm gonna let you read this next one, Patrick, because you deserve it. Treat
I,
yourself.
I do like myself some. Well, I like jumble bones, but I really love tiny bones. The Bauble Burglar for a generic and a black 1/3 body skeleton rogue. Whenever an opponent discards a card, exile it from their graveyard with a stash counter on it. During your turn, you may play cards you don't own with stash counters on them from exile, and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. You can pay 3 generic and a black and tap this creature to have each opponent discard a card. Activate only at sorcery speed. Well, 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 we meet again, Tiny Bones. This is interesting. So, I kind of love the concept here. So that's interesting. So if Tiny Bones were to die and come back, those things are still exiled with stash counters on them.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I mean, look, it's the other Tiny Bones that I did play, I think it was called Trinket Thief, was really fun as like a mono black stacks commander, and basically you punished your opponents by making them discard and allowing you to draw. This feels a little bit more valuable
Yeah, I'll
because
agree with that.
any mass discard, right? Okay, so let's look up the other
This
time.
is
Let's look up Tiny Bones.
what's the name of the black god? Turgrid. This is like a Turgrid, except you actually have to pay for the things, but it is one in a black instead of 5 mana in total. It has a built-in mechanic to make people discard stuff. It lets you play the things whenever, and it will grave hate. It grave hates things. It's honestly just able to say, "Oh yeah, you discarded something important. It's exiled." You know how you're trying to
Right.
do World Gorger setup in your Anya deck? Nah, screw you. So good.
Yeah, it's really good. Whenever an opponent discards a card specifically, so casting spells wouldn't, like planar void the card. But I do think that this is maybe technically better than the other one. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not true. I mean, because Trinket Thief does have like a way to finish the game if you have infinite mana or just enough mana, frankly. In most cases, Tiny Bones, you're kind of fighting to get that 6 mana ability to go off and win the game with that. It's not that practical. I kind of like this better though, kind of like this better.
Yeah, because with this one, you're just going to go, okay, I'm just gonna keep stealing stuff using good utility effects and then keep going. When people are able to actually draw back into their deck, I'm going to pay 4 mana to try to wear down their hand even faster.
Mm.
I'm running all this stuff like Bottomless Pit to wear down their hand even faster. I am now drawing 4 cards per turn. I'm the only person playing the game. Not bad.
Damn, that's
I'll say B.
definitely the best art for Tiny Bones as well.
Yeah.
The alt art, the Bauble Burglar alt art,
Yeah, it's so good.
so cute. I don't know why this little skull man is cute, but he is. Um, B for burglar or B for bauble?
For Bobble. Why can't it be Bobble Burglar? Why can't we do B for both?
That would be double B tier.
Dude.
What?
And he deserves it.
Okay.
Look at that tiny bones man.
All right, Will, give it to me. The
Uh,
first commander with ward. Let's go.
Zool, Assure Lich Lord. 1 and a black for a legendary creature, zombie warlock with 2 power, 2 toughness, and ward pay 2 life. Tap. You may cast target zombie card or zombie creature card from your graveyard this turn.
Huh.
I mean,
Hey,
that's just a
hey.
really annoying recurring commander. The best zombie in your graveyard is coming back every single turn. You can
Grave
do some
Titan. Grave Titan.
Rot Hulk. Let's go. Rot Hulk,
Yeah.
which reanimates 3 things from your graveyard. So you're just
Rotting
going,
Regisword.
nah, nah, nah.
The Rotting
I
Regisword, does that let you draw? What is that Rotting
no, that's
Regisword? It's
a
just 7
it's a
6.
3 mana 7/6 that makes you discard a card at the start of
Discard.
every turn.
Never mind. Okay.
I will say that just being able to cast stuff from your graveyard is really, really good value for casual, especially at 2 mana. So you're always going to have all of your weird lords all the time. Um,
This is super cool,
for,
Zombie
for
Tribal.
competitive, I don't know if there is any good zombie build in competitive, so I don't think that Zool is good enough. But in casual, really good. I'll say C for casual.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Azul, Assure, and C for sure. I like Rev a little bit more though. Tiny Bones though, damn, kind of want to play it. Zul seems good in the 99.
Yeah,
Potentially,
Zool's
yeah,
amazing in the
yeah.
99 of a zombie deck. Zool's also just decent as a commander because just saying, "Oh yeah, you're not removing any of my zombies this game. Have fun," is really strong as a commander.
It can target itself if you have a sack outlet. You may cast target. Nah, you need to
Yeah, you
before
need to name the target.
right, Abso. Sadly, because the way that'll work before you can even get put this on the stack, you need to have assigned a target prior, and then lastly you pay any cost, which is the activation, obviously. Um, Zombies should be blue, black, Innistrad spoiled mono black zombies for me. Oh, I still like it. I'm kind of a fan of this one. I do think Tiny Bones is definitely the best of that lot, though. I didn't really give it much thought, but it's not bad. It's like any instant speed discards off turn, like it's just nasty.
Also,
Or if
Mateus,
hmm?
just due to the fact that you said that, I have a horde deck that I'm making just
Oh,
to have another casual thing to play against my friends. So, mono black zombies.
what do you who's the commander?
No, it's a horde. So
Oh.
it's an arch enemy format where it's everybody versus a horde of zombies.
Sounds dope. Is that gonna go into it?
No, because you long and short for anybody who does not know the horde format. The horde format is a deck made of 60 token cards and 40 non-token cards, and you have to build the deck using cards that will not force the horde to make a choice. Meaning, you can't use anything that says target, you can't use anything that says choose, you can't even use anything that has vigilance because then it gives the horde a choice to block. Um, it's pretty much you want to simplify everything down for the horde so that it can autopilot itself to the point where it does not need to make any kind of choice, and then you're good from there. Meaning you can't use about 70% of Magic the Gathering cards, probably 80% of Magic the Gathering cards that exist.
Yeah, so I don't know why Rev is $25. Apparently, some of these cards are rarer than others, namely the ones that have the Japanese artist behind them.
Yeah, Rev. It's weird because so Rev is like it says on on Scryfall. That rev is like $33,
Mm.
but Sinet, the Jelly Drover, is like $70. It's like
Ah,
double revs.
why?
I don't know.
Target
But anyway,
artifact creature's controller sacrifices it. So that's different. Arkham Daxon, so Abso, to answer your question, so far as how Arkham Daxon reads, you're tapping Arkham Daxon to put this ability on the stack. You'll need to identify an artifact creature, the target artifact creature's controller. So you're saying me, I, as the artifact creature's controller, need to sacrifice this. Am
yeah,
I mistaken? Yeah, it's
target.
weird.
If there's a target in an effect, targeting is part of the casting result. So to put it onto the stack, you have to name a target. So it's an additional cost. As an additional cost, you have to name a target, pretty much.
At any rate, Will, I think this is one you liked. Oh no,
No,
never
no, no,
mind. Never
no. The
mind. Next
next
one.
one is the one that I like.
I'll do this one, and we could burn through this one really quick. Feature
Okay.
generic in a red 4/2 Jackal Warrior trample. You may exert Anep, Vizier of Hazaret, as it attacks. Basically, you can't untap it during the next tap step. When you do, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until end of your next turn, you may play those cards. This is like just generically good, frankly, as a card.
Yeah,
Just
three
yeah,
three mana, draw 2 cards every other turn.
dude, it's three
Not bad.
mana every other turn, but it's like baseline 3 mana 4/2 trample. Like it's really solid. It's gonna trade up, and if it does like get blocked by a chump blocker, it's gonna hurt them still.
If you're
Like a
trying to do Warrior Tribal and you're only in like 1 or 2 colors, not a bad
yeah.
card to put into the 99 or
Oh no.
Jackal Tribal.
In Commander though, specifically as your legendary, I don't.
Inept is inept as a commander, so D.
Yeah, it's gonna go D. Play Neheb. Uh, Minotaurs are way better than Jackals, trust me. But
All right,
Cleon,
next. Cleon, Merry Champion. 2 in a red for a legendary creature, human soldier with 2 power, 2 toughness, and double strike. Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Cleon, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until the end of your next turn. Holy crap. Um, so Cleon is really good with any Burgy style effect, Runaway Steamkin, Stormkiln Artisan, you name it. You pretty much just run a whole bunch of 1 mana do thing effects, some of them cantripping, and then you draw through your entire deck in 1 turn with Cleon. If you don't have one of those effects, play every single 1 mana target spell in your hand to impulse draw with Cleon until you find one of them, play everything else, draw your deck, win the game.
so
This is a
are you putting
pretty good.
Bergi and Urabrosk and I mean
Yeah,
you must
yeah,
place them in here.
yeah. You just run all of those kind of things, anything that can search for one of them, Imperial Recruiter, all of them, and you just go off. You pretty much turn all of these generic 1 mana effects into draw card. And the dumb thing is, even in a cEDH setting, if you run like the 1 mana give a creature +3/+0 and trample effects, you're killing somebody. Like plus 1 mana +3/+0. I think that there's not a +3/+0 trample for 1 mana, but
Mm.
there's a +2/+1 in trample for 1 mana. Doing that will draw you a card because of Cleon, and then you're going to be swinging for 8 commander damage because double strike trample off of that. You're killing
So
people while cantripping.
Mike brings up an interesting point here, just in mentioning Zada, frankly. So Zada likes it too, no Cleon. Zada might like this as just a body to target,
No.
but usually you want low cost to like nothings. You just
So
want nothings on the board, like tokens or kobolds or whatever.
Zada is horrible with heroic cards, and the reason why is heroic says when you cast a spell that targets this. Zada says when you cast a spell that targets only this, make a copy that targets each of your other creatures. You never cast the copy,
You create a
you make a
copy.
copy targeting. So Cleon will never trigger if you target Zada.
Do you Okay, so Mike is saying D here. I'm curious as to what everyone else thinks. Just put A, B, C, or D
I
or S,
honestly,
frankly, in the chat. Put a letters grade in the chat for where you think Cleon lands. I'm gonna give
I
my 2 cents in
honestly
a
think
second, but
B.
you think B?
Yeah, I think B only because you can
I
get
think
this commander out pretty quickly, and then you kill people just by using buffs, and then you refill your hand to kill somebody else later. And if you hit one of your make mana cards, you put your entire deck into play.
I think Zada's an A, frankly. I do think Zada's good. I don't think it's S tier. I think
Zada
it is
got a
good.
lot worse with Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, and Dockside being banned, but it's still playable.
Frankly, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Super optimistic B. I think that Zada, okay, so that's true. I do think Zada is better than this, frankly. I would rather do Zada things and go wide with that deck than I would rather go singular with this deck. I think there's just more strength to what Zada's doing than this. Does that make sense?
As a guy who plays Zada, my issue with Zada is you need a healthy balance of low cost things that you can cheat in that will build you a board, and then target draw effects. So you need to hit the balance with Zada. Leon does not care. Leon just says your deck is running like 30, 40 cards that say one mana target the thing. Turn all of those into draw. You're basically can't turning every
Mm.
single one mana thing into opt plus something else. And in the meantime, you're making Cleon massive and just killing people with a commander. And then when you hit one of your cantrip effect or one of your Bergie effects, you're playing every single one of them. I I do honestly think that Cleon is like a B. Not a high B, but Cleon is good enough that it can win cEDH games.
I can give this an optimistic B,
Yeah.
like what
I'm not gonna
Matthias is
say
saying.
like, oh, it's A tier. It's nowhere near A tier. It's a pet
Yeah.
deck.
Cleon's interesting though. I think so far as mono red's gonna get, it's definitely the best here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah, I like it. I'm gonna say B on Cleon as well. I think we're good there.
Okay.
Cleon Scott Kennedy is just fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
It is probably like the lowest on our B list right there,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's good enough. It might be above Tiny Bones, but I don't know. That's
Whoa.
debate. That's debatable.
I do think that
Um,
black is just a stronger mono. That's not even true. It just has better utilities.
it has tutors. It's more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tiny Bones with stacks though. And so like we're leveraging really good colorless stuff as well in that deck. You convinced me. Thanks, Mike.
Um,
I do think that Cleon is decent. I don't disagree. But let's move on to
Cleon,
general Crete.
Cleon is playable. We can leave it as Cleon is playable. You can interpret that as like
P?
either Cleon is good or Cleon is
Yeah.
just barely enough, but Cleon is playable.
All right. You want to read off general Crete? You can do this
Yeah,
one too.
General Crete, the Bolt Bringer, better have a whole bunch of numbers saying three in this
I know, right?
commander. Two in a red for legendary creature Goblin Soldier with two power and two
There's our
toughness.
first three. Three mana cost.
No, it's two in a red.
But that's three. That's three, sir. You know what I
No,
mean.
no, it's two and a red.
Oh my god.
Whenever one or more goblins you control attack, you create one red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. Whenever
Okay.
another creature you control enters the battlefield, Crete does one damage to each opponent.
Oh, there's
Um,
three there. If you have three opponents remaining, that's one damage to three opponents. So
Impact
The Bolt Bringer bought us two threes.
impact tremors on another commander. It's mini Perforos, not indestructible, can make tokens by itself that enter tapped and attacking. Um,
It's in Perforos 4 as well.
yeah,
And like,
Perforos is four. This is for casual purposes and like general outlet purposes. This is just better Perforos. Perforos is indestructible, which is the only reason why we'll say Perforos is better. So if you're playing your Atla Palani deck, you're still running Perforos over this because you need indestructible, or
yeah.
you need the fact that it's not a creature. But General Crete, you never really run Perforos as a standalone cEDH commander. I think that this is probably weaker than Perforos in casual, because in casual you really just want the two damage over the one damage.
I mean,
But
it's a goblin generator.
yeah, but you'd rather run just Kranko as a goblin generator, right? Either of the Krankos. I don't think that Crete is bad, but I think that some commanders just do better stuff than Crete.
No, I don't disagree. I like this anime goblin, by the way. This handsome
Ye-
anime goblin boy. I'm gonna give it a D.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh wow, did I miss a Minotaur or oh wait.
No, that's next.
Okay. Gornog, the Red Reaper. What Is he reaping? That's red.
The cowards.
Let's find out. Two generic and a red. 2/3 body. Haste. Cowards can't block warriors. Whenever one or more warriors you control attack a player, target creature that player controls becomes a coward. Becomes a coward. For like the rest of the game?
No, cowards are not born. Cowards are targeted to become cowards.
Yeah, no one's born a coward. You're called a coward. Attacking warriors you control get plus X plus O, where X is the number of cowards your opponents control. I love to see the mirror where the Nagilas are just like calling each other coward all night.
You're a coward. No, you're a coward. No, you're a coward. So I really quickly want to point out a couple things with this card. So one, haste, cowards can't block warriors, yada yada yada. But with that other effect of whenever one or more warriors you control attack target creature that attack a player, target creature that player controls become a coward.
Yeah.
So you can have 3 cowards be made every single turn,
Yeah.
and then
Be named.
on top of that, those cowards lose all other creature types. They're only cowards, which is relevant in a couple scenarios. Screw your Magda. Um, and then on top of that, that is giving your warriors +3 +0 on the very first turn that you attack, period. You're killing people with Nagila. Like, that's just death. Because all of your 1/1s are now 4/1s, and then the next turn they are all 7/1s.
Mateus, are you running
He said that he's
Gornog
going to
and
be running them. He said that he's running this in Nagila.
it's also
already.
a hasty warrior by itself. Like that's kind of nasty.
He's
It's
he's the most brutal Nagila anthem I think that's been printed ever.
yeah. God.
This is what is it called? Koala, the
Right.
white commander that we
What's
brought up before.
what's
This is Koala, but like in the
so
99 of Nagila. As a
outside of
commander,
Najila, how many creatures are your opponent's going to actively have? Like 2 to 4 tops?
yeah. So with this as a commander, I say that this is probably D tier, only because you need to build a mono red warrior deck and then get enough warriors that you can swing out and call things cowards and then buff stuff. Maybe this is a C because this is an actual viable warrior commander outside of Nagila where you're making it so your stuff is unblockable by getting rid of all blockers and turning them into cowards and then making your stuff massive. Uh I think C. I think C.
Yeah, as its own. Sorry, we kind of got caught up there. Yeah, and the 99 of Najila, that's super cute though. I mean, that's I can't get over that. C for coward. Yeah, I like that. Calling you a coward, Gornog. What would you call Avora, insatiable air, a coward, Will? Oh shit, is that my blade?
My blade. Evora Insatiable Air. 1 in a red for a 1/1 legendary creature, vampire warrior who can call your opponent's creatures cowards with Gornog, with trample. Whenever this enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, you create a blood token. Whenever you discard a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on Evora. I will say, in casual, this can get very big, very quickly, and hit very hard. Uh, Discarding cards is not hard if you are looting or rummaging or anything. You're giving this probably like +3/+3/+3 every single turn pretty easily, and you're making blood tokens, which makes it even easier as well. Not a horrible mono red aggro commander. There are potentially better things, but honestly, like the fact that this just gets big fast is good for casual. No chance for competitive, but
Does she not look like she could be the Green Goblin's mother?
she looks like an orc from World of Warcraft.
A little bit. The orcs from World of Warcraft. Other people like the Night Elves. I like the
So,
orcs. Go on.
so the question is this good enough as a or as a regular commander, casual commander, or is it just a D?
She makes blood tokens, so you know it's good.
so you know it's good.
I just watched that skit
My
today.
blade gets bigger every time I discard a card.
It was bathed in gnome semen, so you know it's good. I think it's a
My
D.
blade has been enchanted with all known enchantments, every single one. It has a 100%
Discard.
chance of decapitating an enemy on contact.
It's I think this one would break, man. I think this blade will break. Enters, deals combat damage, enters, and whenever it deals combat damage. It's fine. It's fine. I do like this card a lot. I agree with you. In a casual setting, it could be pretty fun and aggressive. Maybe it's a C.
Using all of the bad Wheel of Fortune effects and then just going, do, plus 21, die!
Oh, Avora with the backside, the horn.
Oh,
Hulfner?
Hornfeld.
Harnfell. Sorry, with Bergie. Sorry. So this. If you guys don't remember, you discard a card. Exile the
And
top two
Impulse
cards of your
too.
library. It's kind of sick. Whew.
I
I mean,
I
we
think
usually
that due to the fact that this is just a good red discard commander, like mono red discard, it is probably a C. And it also does Voltron stuff. I like it. I think it's
yeah,
C.
and just faithless looting by itself will draw two, trash two.
Indeed. I mean, you
She's
have to
a.
pay 2 mana to do that. And technically, you have to pay 4 mana to do that, but
Isn't
eh.
faithless looting one mana? It's one red.
Yeah, Faithless Looting's 1 red, but you have to pay 2 to play this, and you have to pay 2 mana for each of the bloods, because bloods say pay 1, tap it, and then wait, hold on.
No, I'm talking about just casting faithless looting.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying use Faithless Looting for this?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
flashback faithless. You got some. You got some cute rummage effects in red.
Yeah.
It's funny though because we've moved towards impulse draw since recently in red. Obviously the blood tokens are your form of rummage, and I do mean discard and draw. I
You
like
know
it a
what's
lot.
really, you know what's really good with this commander though, Patrick?
Kellen.
Burning Inquiry.
Yeah. Burning
But
Inquiry.
speaking of impulse draw, Kellen, Planar Trailblazer, 1 red for a 2/1 legendary creature, human Fey scout uh pay 1 and a red. If Kellen is a scout, it becomes a human Fey detective and gains whenever this deals combat damage to a player. Impulse draw. You may play it until or you may play that card this turn. Then 2 and a red. If Kellen is a detective, it becomes a 3/2 human Fey rogue with double strike. Now, the one funny thing you can do here is you can use the equipments that say this creature is all creature types, or I think we have an equipment that makes a creature specifically a detective that we got from the Murders at Karlov Manor set.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was either the hat or the glass,
I think there's a
um,
goggle lens, infiltrator lens. No,
something like that.
something lens, not infiltrator
Um,
lens.
but you can make Kellen into a detective again, and then keep using that sorry, oh no, it has to be scout. If you can make Kellen into a scout over and over and over and over and over again, you can keep stacking that first ability, and whenever he connects, you impulse draw 5 times or 6 times, and then when he gets double strike, you're impulse drawing 10 to 12 times. So there's funny, dumb things you can do, but that is a whole lot of hoops to jump through just to do I draw cause funny. Um,
Yeah, in mono red too.
yeah,
You're
I'd say
hard pressed to get there.
he's a D.
He's a D. By the way, Reckless Fireweaver plus Ivora. Is there anything there?
Uh,
It's whenever an artifact enters the battlefield.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of extra burn. That doesn't do a combo loop or anything.
He's already a scout. Yeah, no. Will saying that you need to
So
remake him a scout.
yes, because when
Yeah.
you activate the ability, he loses the effect or he loses the typing scout and becomes a detective. But if you want to use that ability again, you just need to make him a scout again using one of the equipments that makes him all creature types. So if you can keep remaking him into a scout, you can keep reusing that first effect so that he impulse draws more times.
All right. Well, imagine Kellen in the 99, and you've entombed him, and you have Soul Cauldron. What's the best thing you can do?
Not Soul Cauldron Gellin.
You spend $60 for Soul Cauldron just to entomb Kellen. Wait, how much is Soul Cauldron these days? It's got to be up there. Is it worse? Oh shit, there's a full art version. Yeah, go for the full art version. That's way better. Oh shit, he's got the sword from Halo. What the fuck?
Yeah, true. All right, well, Brolios, the Ferris Band.
Wait, I just need to see how much Soul Cauldron is now. It's more or less the same. Okay, 20 to 40 bucks.
Uh,
Anyways, that's it for red, guys. And I don't think we have anything up for polls, so we're talking about Brolios.
Brolios. 3 green for a legendary creature, Centaur Scout
A
with
six-legged
star power and
centaur.
toughness.
Just
Uh,
kidding.
Brolios' power and toughness is equal to the number of lands you control. And whenever Brolios attacks, you may draw a card and then put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. The bad Thrasios. Pass.
Oh my god, I can't spell today. Sorry. She was a fairy. Yeah, bad Thrasios. Bad.
Yeah,
D.
so I will say I have a deck, the Multani from Dominaria, that was pretty much use all of the Life's Legacy effects in a commander that just keeps getting bigger to do dumb green storm stuff for casual. This kind of does it a little bit better because you can attack to draw and to ramp a little bit, but you don't have trample, so you can't just punch with this to win because people just jump. So bad.
I would love it if Wizards gave the creative direction to just add an extra pair of legs to things that were normally quadrupeds. Like, I would have loved it if Braulio just had an extra set of legs just to fuck with people and be like, is this, is this a
Is this
six-legged
AI art? Is this like the messed up hand thing but with legs?
Yeah, right. It can't make up its mind. How many legs does a centaur have? Five legs. um, Dionys, the elvish archdruid. For 3 generic and a green. Sorry, there's like some hullabaloo. 3/3 body. Elves you control have whenever this creature becomes tapped during your turn, untap it and put a 1/1 counter on it. This ability triggers only once each turn. Huh. Huh.
Double up on your dorks.
That's a
Pretty
lot of
cool.
ramp. That's a lot of ramp.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
will say that
Savala ramp?
probably not, because you need to
Mm.
do elf ball stuff to get there, but potentially a good elf commander. I think
So,
it goes in the 99 of elf decks more than anything, though.
Teamer Sabretooth, this. That's so much effort. How are we breaking this, Will? Break it for me. Go
Let's
on.
see.
Break it.
Um, I mean, heck, if we could do some kind of elf kiki jiki, that would be great, because we just keep making more dinos, and then that lets us get a fresh untap, and we repeat over and over and over again. Um, Teamer Sabretooth is honestly not a bad way to do it, because if we have enough dorks that they make 6 mana, which is not hard in mono green, we just go again and again and again and again and again. So Teamer Sabretooth is an easy way to go infinite here. We also have Cloudstone Curio, and we just bounce 2 over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, wait. Is there? We want to flicker this boy. There's no good way to flicker. It's also
Well,
mono
you
green,
just do
mind you.
bounce and replay. Bounce and replay is good enough because if we just have
Is it though,
5 mana
Will?
with elves. Yes.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
It's
Have you
fine.
never heard of the card Priest of Titania? You play that in this deck, and you're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's like 5 mana to do
Are
the
you
infinite.
saying that this is the new Elvish Elf Ball Commander with that
Uh,
air
Honestly, maybe
katana?
because you actually have like a creature combo with this. This is one of the few
Oh.
mono green commanders that has like a pure creature combo with like one other card.
March of the Machines
Honestly,
Tyvar with this? I'm sorry. Mike was suggesting March of the Machines, the Mom Tyvar. I don't remember what that Mom Tyvar does.
let me check Tyvars.
What else do centaurs have two of? Let us know in the chat.
Is March of Machines Tyvar the Golgari one? Oh no, it's the Aftermath you're saying, right?
Yeah, whichever was from that collection. Are there two?
Yeah, March of the Machines Aftermath. Yeah. So March of the Machines Aftermath, whenever one or more elves you control attack, they gain Death Touch until the end of the turn.
Hmm.
Each creature you control has whenever a mana ability of this creature resolves, put a +1/+1 counter on it equal to the amount of mana that creature produced. This ability triggers only once each turn.
Yo, Priest of
It's
Titania is getting swole.
Yeah, we have this is just better Tyvar though, because it's going infinite and then making those creatures infinities.
I would say definitely C.
I
I
would say definitely B at minimum, only just because there are actual good clear combos. Because the entire point of this commander is run every dork known to man, and then run all the green creature tutors and win.
You know what hasn't been banned, Will?
Hmm,
Manifold.
true.
So you can cast. That's the one artifact you run in the deck. Um. All right, Dionys. Dionys.
I would say B at very minimum, maybe A, but I mono green is hard. So probably B.
All right, guys. I'm gonna leave it to you. It's gonna get the maybe A. Maybe A. But
So
Dionys, Elvish Archdruid. I'm gonna let you guys pick where this one goes.
yeah, just going for Sabretooth and winning the game is not hard. There's also Cloudstone Cure. It's the Selvala lines, except for the fact that
Don't
don't
draw.
need you don't need a C on top there, but you need enough dorks.
But you know what you need on top of this honey bear?
The bare
Uh,
necessities.
sorry, I jumped the gun. That is definitely honey in a pot, though. That's one nasty looking bear.
Oh, bother.
Oh, Polo. Herska, Sweet Tooth. Do you have any thoughts on this one, Will?
Well, first off, that looks way more like a sloth than a bear. That is my first thought on the card.
It's a bear.
Uh, Outside of that, though, I will say I actually really like this commander for casual and maybe for competitive. Only reason why is the first effect. So first off, let's read the card. Herska Sweet Tooth. 2 and a green for a legendary creature bear with 3 power and 3 toughness. It's not a bear. It has 3 power. Bears don't have 3 power, nor 3 toughness. You're saying that this can survive fighting 3 squirrels? Unfathomable. Whenever Herska attacks, make a food. Whenever you
I hate
gain
what Wizards doing to this game. They're ruining it.
my immersion,
I can't
um,
even rely on my bears to be tutus anymore.
whenever you gain life, you may pay a Selesnya. And when you do, also, I really like that all of these effects are not if you do, they are when you do.
Mhm, mhm.
When you do, target creature gets +X/+X until the end of the turn, where X is the amount of life you gained. So, the reason why this is potentially really good, you're in green, you have all the we care about power effects, including all of the dorks that really care about how much power they have. You can do life gain storm stuff to just go, oh, I'm going to pay 1 green and sacrifice a creature to gain like 8 life. I'm going to put 8 counters on Morrowind or Selvala or anything. Then I'm going to go. Soul's Majesty, draw most of my deck. There is potential for Herska to do some really dumb things. I think Herska's probably better in casual than competitive, but you could totally do competitive stuff with Herska. I'm totally fine with just giving a big creature lifelink and then paying 1 to double its stats for storm stuff. So I like Herska.
All right, well, I want to see your casual Herska list. I will throw this in the C territory, though. It does look fun. For Selesnya, for sure. And I like Mike's comment, power creep bears. Yeah, pretty much. But they didn't even do it gradually. They didn't even do like a 2/3 bear. They just jumped right into 3/3. Vicious. Those are sheep bees. Mateus says he sees sheep bees, but I'm going to gaslight him and saying, I don't see any sheep bees. You're wrong. There aren't sheep bees in this picture. Those are regular bees. God.
Indeed.
Loot. Exuberant Explorer for 2 generic and a green. 1/4 body. Beast Noble. You may assign combat damage with your... Nope, never mind. Wrong color. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. For 4 generic and double forest, tap this creature. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control from among them and put it onto the battlefield. What? Put the rest onto the bottom. Oh, the rest on the bottom in a random order. The bottom of what? You choose. All right.
Just you have to sit on them for the rest of the game. You
Yeah,
have to
you're
sit
just
on
like,
those cards.
I'm just gonna.
The rest on the bottom.
Yeah, it's a what's it called? A hideaway or a hideout? Just sneak these right in my ass. That's a lot of mana for that
For Mike.
effect.
Mike kind of said what I said off stream with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, loot is really good in my opinion.
Why is loot in Summoner's Rift? So I don't know. Doesn't he travel through? Isn't he the planar explorer? Like, isn't he the guy roaming around?
Come on, Mateus, you're saying that you wouldn't want to see loot play jungle to take down the opponent's nexus?
God, I cannot wait to watch Arcane. All right.
All right, but for
Yeah.
loot, in my opinion, strictly better Azusa Lost but Seeking. For cEDH, people have tried making Azusa viable. It's kind of failed for the most part, and people just stopped doing stuff with Azusa. The main issue was you're in green, you don't have a lot of good ways of drawing unless you hit the right things. Loot fixes that. Yes, you can only play one land instead of two, which seems bad, except for the fact that you're not hitting a ton of lands in green. And then you have a mana sink effect for your commander to dig into your deck, find a good card, feed it into play, and then keep going. And you can cheat out that card at instant speed if you do need to keep up interaction. So it's not like you're just spending your whole turn to do that. You keep up the interaction if no one tries winning the game or doing anything crazy. Then you go, okay, and step 4 my turn.
What what is Green's
Oh, look,
interaction?
Legal
Were
Force.
you gonna hard cast Force of Vigor? What is Green's interaction? You've got 6
Nature's
mana
Claim.
open.
Like
Yeah.
Nature's Claim, Natural State, other things
Yeah.
like that. You can just keep up all. You can keep all the mana open and then just
No,
go.
I got you. I
I'm
got you.
draw land, passing it in mono
This is
green because
so
I can.
This is so counter to what Green normally does, though. Normally, you're like, "Ugh," you're gonna drop the big stompy thing, and you're gonna pass because you're a Timmy. This is so counter to what Green normally does. I like that you're saying, "Oh, mono green, you're gonna wait with open forest." It's
Mateus, I've
never
lost to Azusa cEDH, lowest point in my cEDH career.
really. Wow,
I mean, to be
damn.
fair, if you what is
What
it? A
did they
broken
do?
clock is right twice a day. A monkey. If you lock a monkey in a room, they'll eventually type Shakespeare. Yada yada yada. All of those different things. And, yeah, if you play enough of the game, you're eventually going to have a low point.
Yeah. Sorry, I was
I,
thinking of a stupid phrase that I'm not going to
I
use.
also do want to say loot does have combos just due to the fact that if you can do infinite untaps, you can put your deck into play.
So
So
loot is generating some buzz in the chat, guys. What do you name some loot combos? Name some things you want to do with loot. Seedborn Muse is top of the mind, it seems.
I honestly like loot is a deck that can use Seedborn Muse well enough
But you're
because
right though, it is mid. It is mid.
hey, I'm saying Seedborn Muse is mid in the fact that like it sees as much play as Sakashima of 1,000 Faces in cEDH in the 99.
Mm.
Like no one plays Sakashima in the 99. No one plays Seedborn Muse in the 99. There
Where
are
are
some
we?
decks that really like Seedborn Muse, and Seedborn Muse does a whole lot of stuff in the decks that do run Seedborn Muse, like Sakashima. But it's not a card that's like played in every deck. It's played in very, very specific decks.
Where are we on loot? The boy wonder here, the beast wonder.
Honestly, I might say A, only because it gives an outlet to a whole bunch of stuff that greens needed. So loot does good ramp stuff, but on top of that, if you have the Ushaya combo where you do infinite untaps, loot is going to let you put your deck into play. On top of that, if you have Temur Sabertooth and Great Oak Guardian or Hyrex Tower Scout or something like that, you're putting your deck into play. You just name something that's A plus B infinite untap and then untap loot infinite times to put your deck into play. Loot's just really good as a I will ramp you and I will find you stuff to either combo off or get value to try to combo off
Now
later.
imagine if they made a legendary that you could target with an ability and then have it either play a land from the top of your deck or draw a card. Like that would be good. Do you know what I mean? Maybe in Simic.
Just pay 4 mana and do that. Yeah, maybe like a 1/3.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be really good. Maybe potentially broken. This this feels okay. I don't know. I'd put this in a B. I like mono
It's
green. I don't know
it,
about. I know Azusa rocked Mateus's world, but
my thing with Loot versus Thrasios though is you have to pay 4 mana every single turn to ramp 1 with Thrasios. You pay 0 to ramp with Loot, and then 6 to cheat in your freaking Cultivator Colossus, and then you do stupid stuff.
mm,
I I think Loot is better than Thrasios in just the direct way of I get more ramp and I cheat stuff in. Thrasios is better due to the fact that he has more colors and he has partner, so he's just gross.
all right,
Um,
guys. Here's where I'm at on this. Wow, got a couple of votes for A tier on Dionys, but I want to set up a poll for loot. I'm curious. Sorry, Will. You were saying.
Also, can we acknowledge that two of the commanders that are potentially A tier are both in green? Like, what was the other one that was potentially in green? Cleon, I think it was the other one that argued for being or no, it was
For red, Dionys.
Plagan was the one that we were arguing
Plagan.
for A tier.
I like Plagan a lot, actually. Still, I think Plagan should be a brew on the channel. I see
Yeah,
that being a good deck. But guys, where's loot? It's either a A or a B. I think this is better than casual. I'm agreeing with you guys on that. I don't know that it's S tier. I don't think it's gonna be better than like a partner pairing or
yeah,
something.
nowhere near S tier, but definitely in like A or B.
I'll cast O-Ring on loot like I throw a Pokeball. By the way, if anyone's playing the Pokemon Pocket TCG, let me know. Maybe we can be friends, and then you can like my binder and give me shopping credits. Shrufus, Sprouts Sire, 2 generic and a green. Oh my god, the art on this one is so cute. Look at those
Yeah,
little guys suckling at his teats.
I
So,
think
so
when we
cute.
discussed this card randomly on the channel, you said you wanted to brew this casually, not like on the channel, just have this as a deck.
Yeah, it's just only for the flavor text. His laughter and everything else about him was infectious. How wholesome. What a wholesome little
And
card.
horrifying.
Yeah. And it's a Wooburg destroy everything. It's a 3 mana 1/1 with trample. Sapperling tribal. Come on, let's bring it home, Sapperlings. Whenever a Sapperling you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green Sapperling creature tokens.
It's Nigila in mono
Wow.
green, but if you have any Anthem, it is exponential Nigila.
Um,
Pretty good. Pretty good. Definitely a fun casual deck.
Super fun. Super fun casual deck. I don't think it goes higher than that. I want to see Shrufus without his hat. It looks, or is that part of his head? I don't know.
Yeah, why are you asking such offensive questions, Patrick?
I'm so sorry. I don't know how. I don't know.
Just look
I
at
don't know
me.
Sapperling anatomy like that. I'm sorry.
Look at his kids all around, and you'll see it's part of the body.
I guess so. Excuse me? Yo, this is like dungeon meshy monster. Yeah, you want to eat, you're saying you want to eat Shrufus? Stop.
It's
Najila?
so
Yeah,
yeah.
this is exactly like Najila.
This is not better Nagila, but this is a different version of Nagila that can get a board faster, but is not going to do the dumb combo stuff that Nagila does.
It is it is like looking in a mirror with
I would like
Najila.
to ask if it has feet. How many
How
legs
many
on this
legs?
one, Patrick? Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 6. 6 legs
It's a
again.
beetle. It's a beetle.
It's a Pegasi.
Shrufus is C, just because you can actually do Sapperling Tribal, and you
You
can
do?
also just play any anthems, and then you start doing really dumb stuff and make a really big board really
Damn.
quickly.
Abso doesn't like it. You know what? I'm gonna bring Shrufus to bracket 4 night and show you. Is a higher number better? I'm sorry. Bracket.
You can mix it with one of the other new cards from this set that's what is it, like Colossification Experiment or something along the lines of that? What is it called? It's Preposterous Proportions, which is just all creatures you control have +10/+10 in vigilance, and
Flavor
all of
text.
your 4 Sapperlings are going to make you 40 more Sapperlings. Sorry,
Preposterous.
44. 44, I have to be accurate with the number.
Preposterous Proportions is a picture of a Pegasus with 6 legs, and it says, "Where did those come from?" I would love that shit. Slinza! Slinza! Dude, this is one anime looking fucking behemoth
That
monster.
name is anime.
Slinza? Yeah, dude. I just want to admire it for a second. I actually didn't see this card. Uh, Probably gonna suck. I hope I'm wrong. The Spiked Stampede. Oh my god. When it's self-entitled something really cool, that's when you know it's bad. For 4 generic and a green, 5/5 body. So it's 5 mana, 5/5. Beast spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Each
Not
other
too
beast.
relevant, but
It's fine. It's fine. So Beast Within. It's not a beast spell. That'd be great if that was subtype beast. Each other beast creature you control enters with additional +1/+1 counter on it. Holy crap, we're getting somewhere. Whenever Slinza or another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, we may pay 2 mana total. And we are apparently in Golgari. Not Golgari. We are in, oh my god, Will. Gruel. Gruel. One of you do Slinza fights target creature you don't control. Ha! Ha!
give me a second. I am looking at one dumb idea. Dang it, all the beasts with persist are in Simic.
Oh, they were smart.
Yeah. Well, I will say, repeatable fight effects on the commander is pretty decent. Beast Tribal is kind of fun, but you have Hydras that do kind of the same thing, so D.
Sorry, Slinza. Your name was cool though.
Much like your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle counterpart, you didn't make
Seriously.
it there, Shredder.
All right, you want to tell us about Sutina, the other contender for
Stutina,
Elf Ball
Speaker
Commander of
of
the Year?
Tajuru, 2 and a green for a legendary creature Elf Scout with 2 power and 2 toughness. When this enters the battlefield under your control, search for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Whenever this attacks, you may return a land card you control to its owner's hand and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Um, so you rampant growthing on ETB and you're attacking to bounce lands to hand so that you can replay and do landfall stuff. Better landfall stuff exists.
Yeah. Shout out Zendikar. Shout out Zendikar. Sorry, Sutina. We're moving on to multicolor. We are gonna end our previous poll. And it looks like Loot is going to
BP.
fall to the B tier. Not too far off though from A. B, better Farhaven Elf. Yeah, I guess so. As its own commander, though, it's not very great. All right, we have a lesser Kaikar here. Will, I'll let you read this one off.
All
It just
right.
upsets me. Actually,
Card,
we'll go for the
2
other
a
way.
white and a blue for a legendary creature bird
Oh,
wizard with 3 power and 4 toughness. Flying, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, choose one. Either exile another creature you control and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step, or create a 1/1 flying white spirit creature token.
I don't make
Honestly,
mana while I do this.
I actually like this Kaikar.
Do you?
The reason why is because it is a really, really good ETB like flicker commander. Because if you cast instance, you can get something to ETB every 4 turns per rotation. So you can get some decent value out of him if you have any creature that says ETB draw cards, like one weird turtle riding mushroom guy or starfish guy previously. Um,
Plagon!
yeah. If you have anything that's just ETB draw or ETB search for a spell like Spellseeker, you can do some dumb stuff with this Kaikar to just kind of grind out value. It's limited on how crazy you can go with him, so I don't know if he's going to be a B, but he is cast a spell to flicker a creature, which is bad Displacer Kitten because it's slow flicker. But there's honest potential for Kaikar to do decent things. I would say if Kaikar is not flicker at the end of the turn, then this would probably be a S tier. But because it's flickered till the end of the turn, maybe B because you can still do good grindy value stuff, but probably C.
I like the this Kaikar looks like a cult leader to me. The
Yeah, the
alt,
alternate
the
art.
alt art looks like some image a cult leader would use for its
Hello,
church.
my child. You
Hello.
will not be sacrificed for red mana today.
Not today. I'm a different Kaikar now.
The only red part of me is that one mark on my forehead.
Yes. They're both good arts. I just like the cult leader art a little bit better. I'm going to say that this is a B. I think that the fact that this isn't a proper blink, it's a delayed blink, kind of does stunt it. Obviously, like Mateus was saying, this with Snapcaster would be really cool. It would bring Snapcaster back to the foray. This with freaking Spellseeker would be cool. And this with Spellseeker is still cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's not as great as it
Actually,
could be.
one thing that makes me actually like this a little bit more than I initially thought, um, really good stacks commander. Only
Yeah.
because you can use rule of law effects and on the end step before your turn, exile your rule of law until your end step, and you
Mm-hmm.
have a full turn to do whatever you want without a rule of law, and then it immediately comes back. That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like
Provided
them.
it's a creature like Eidolon or Archon.
Yeah. So
B, B, B,
he,
B, B, B. B for bird. I'm sorry, I saw A for Avon. I'm gonna go B here, sadly. We haven't had an A tier yet, though, and I think Alessia might change that.
Alessia who smiles. Oh, sorry, Alessia who laughs at fate.
Ha ha ha
He,
ha. Ha ha ha
ha
ha.
ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha.
More jovial. The jovial Alessia. Um, One, a black and a red for a legendary creature, human warrior with 2 power, 2 toughness, and first strike. When Alessia attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Raid. At the beginning of your end step, reanimate a creature with mana value less than or equal to Alessia's power. Um, I will say, I wish that this was not Boros, Orzhov instead of Rakdos. Because, dear lord, it would be so annoying if you just kept reanimating all of your stacks pieces every single turn and no one could do anything about it, and that would
Yeah.
be hilarious.
Um. This is okay, Will.
Yeah. This is a very fun casual commander just because you do Voltron stuff, bring back big scary stuff over and over and over again so that you have multiple big threats constantly coming in. But in competitive, you have better, faster stuff to do in Rakdos.
What's the best thing you're doing at 3? What 3 CMC thing are you bringing back?
Oh, you're probably for casual, it's probably going to be a lot higher than 3 CMC because you're running all
Right,
the
right, right.
equipments that make it even bigger. For competitive,
Opposition agent.
yeah, you have some stack stuff that you can use, but I think it's probably just going to be value stuff more or less here and there. This would be a
I'm
lot better
okay
if
on Alessia.
Dockside still existed, but unfortunately, no.
Alessia is gonna go A tier for me. No, Alessia's gonna go.
See,
Would you play this casually?
yeah, because I mean, honestly, just going, I play a little bit of discard stuff, Voltron, and a couple big threats. You're just gonna go, okay, turn 3, I play Lesha. Turn 4, I'm going to set a shield rid into a graveyard and play an equipment. Turn 5, I'm swinging with an Alesha that's going to start threatening lethal on somebody and reanimate a Praetor that's going to make people's lives super annoying. Is pretty good. I think that the Alesha is good for casual, but
Yeah,
not
I
good
was
for competitive.
trying to remember how the previous Mardu one worked.
Yeah, it's a reanimate a
Yeah,
low CMC thing.
yeah, yeah. I kind
Actually,
of
it's
like. I kind of.
low power. My bad. 2 or less power, I think.
Yeah, right. So,
Yeah, I got it right.
which is interesting because you could do a lot of pseudo cracked things with that, where this is based off of mana value and power as it relates to power. I'm fine with it at C. I don't think it's better than that, sadly. But what about Alenda, the Good Witch?
Alinda is a 2 white and black for a legendary creature vampire knight with 4 power, 4 toughness, lifelink, and hexproof from instants. As long as your life total is greater than your starting life total, get +1/+1 in menace. As long as your life total is 10 greater than your starting life total, get an additional +5/+5. Potential 9/9 with lifelink, menace, and hexproof from instants. That's a whole lot of Voltron, but it's at 4 mana, and you need to play this attack a couple times to get set up to get to 5, and then you can start gaining significantly more and doing dumb stuff.
What was that
Uh,
one? What is that one cleric if you have like over 20 health? You have over 20 health, it gets +10/+10 or some shit.
yeah, it's
What's its name again?
not Absence Pilgrim, Sarah Ascendant.
Sarah Ascendant. Don't you wish this was worded like Sarah Ascendant?
Yeah, would be insane. Sadly,
Yeah.
it's not insane. I'd say D.
Yeah, interestingly, you don't need to attack with Alessia to trigger raid. You kind of want to for the +1/+1 counter, but I get you. That is true. You could
But
simply
Lush,
tap it
this
with like
Lush
a
has first strike to get away with it.
right. But you could do like Springleaf Drum instead if you wanted to pull something that was two, like your Orcish Bowmaster that died or something. It's actually really cool, like recurable value you get there. Anyway, I like the hexproofs from instant. I mean, that already is big in my book, but this is not this is not a great commander in a competitive setting.
She has hexproof from instance. So bad hexproof?
Yeah. Will D?
Yeah, D. D for dusk.
Yeah, okay. Just
All
checking.
right.
All right, everyone's favorite, the
Niv,
Dragonstorm commander
yeah,
himself.
Niv Mizzet Visionary. For a blue and a red for
Ah!
legendary creature, dragon wizard with 5 power, 5 toughness flying, and you have no maximum hand size. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to a player, draw that many cards.
Oh damn.
Man,
No.
this goes infinite with Brago, or not Brago, what's the name? Brawlin. This goes infinite with Brawlin. Oh wait. This goes infinite with Glinthorn. Oh wait. Well, it goes infinite with both Nivs. Oh wait, you need to have a way of actually winning after drawing the 80 cards in your deck and dealing 80
Dragonstorm.
damage as you choose.
Ah!
I so this commander looks completely and utterly insane on paper and seems like it should be S tier.
Yeah.
After actually building him,
What do you
there
mean?
are so many problems with this commander
What do you
when you
mean
get into the details.
desecrated last week? This we respected Niv
I
Mizzet. He didn't respect us.
so here's the thing, because we had the Dragonstorm and we just kept getting punked because of Dragonstorm. But
We
my
kept having
issue
hands
is
that were for Dragonstorm, and then we personal tutored Dragonstorm. Who are we? What was going on? Oh my god, I'm sorry, Will.
so my issue with this Niv though is his only two combo cards are the other Niv Mizzets that do when you draw a card deal 1 damage. And then that means that you are dealing a total of 80 damage divided as you choose amongst your opponents, and then lose the game because there is no May trigger on any of those, I don't believe. The Niv Mizzets may have May do 1 damage, but the issue still stands that you're going to draw your whole deck and stop there with however much mana you have left and then try to win the game at instant speed, which could just end up killing you. I think
Um,
that there is still potential on this Niv Mizzet, but the issue is that it is way clunkier than it initially looks. Because the no maximum hand size clause is actually a hindrance more than a help because it prevents you from using some of the good combos. The fact that all of your actual outlets are ping draw or like ping one player to draw means that you're going to be decking out before you actually kill people. So it's my issue is that you don't actually have good combos in the deck to end the game. Yes, you can draw and then play Born Upon a Wind and then just hardcast a Thoracle, but
I am super iffy on this being S tier, guys, but I put it up there just to give us an option for S tier. I don't think that this card is good enough, Will. At
I
6 mana,
think
that's like a high ask.
it. I initially looked at this and was like, "Oh, this might be better than the 6 pip Niv that we currently have." But then after actually playing through it and realizing all the issues, it's one of the worst Nivs that's ever been printed. Out of the two
Damn.
mana Nivs, it is the
Two
third
two
best
colored
or the
nibs, yeah.
second worst. So it's it's not a good, or it's not a great Niv. It's definitely playable. You might be able to make it work in cEDH. I think it's better in casual
That's
by like
interesting
a
though.
mile.
So Mateus is saying you don't need to combo with this Niv, you just need to punish people that try to combo. And that's the thing though, like I think so ultimately when you get up to being able to cast Niv, you're likely deficient on your hand size. So you're hoping that you have one of your components to draw cards. It could be a mind bomb, or it could be a lightning bolt. It could be anything. There's a variety. There's a new card actually from the set that works with this bolt wave, I think.
Yeah.
At any rate, there are plenty of cards that will work in tandem with Niv to draw you a lot of cards. They're kind of punishing people by damaging them isn't really a huge punishment in a competitive setting. Normally, you need something hard like stacks or to be looking at removing their permanence. Whereas the utilities you're using are just outright trying to damage your opponents. To me, if there isn't a clean, efficient A plus B, and even if there's a little C there, line of play, I don't know that it's worth trying to combo with it. So I'm not going to disagree with Mateus. As a matter of fact, I think that comboing with this Niv is difficult.
I
But I
think it's
also
incorrect to combo with the Niv. I do agree with that.
but I also think that just your punishers being like ping effects essentially, and obviously you're in blue, you're gonna have counters. It just doesn't feel like it's doing enough for me. Like I don't know. It's just
My
it's very
issue,
high costed.
my issue is
Okay.
that this is a 6 mana commander that forces you to run cards that are kind of bad outside of when your commander's on board, and it does nothing by itself. It has like the three main factors that make a commander bad.
Yeah.
Granted, when all these three things line up, you have enough mana to play your commander, you have one of the cards that you need to combo off, and then you actually get your commander out with the other thing to be able to start doing your thing, then it's amazing. Because you're going to keep a hand of like 15 to 16 cards every time and you can just control out the game. My issue is that you need to have the ramp to play Niv Mizzet, have the full turn to play Niv Mizzet, and have one of your hate effects in play at some point to be able to draw, or have a bolt wave in hand or something like that. So you're pretty much just hoping you get a really good hand that sets you up into what you need. And if not, you're just not using your commander at all in the game, or you're not able to get to the mana to play your commander fast enough.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, that's always a good way to look at these legendaries. Like, if you were hellbent in that world and all you had access to is your commander, how much are you actually doing? And I look at something like Oswald and it's like, well, I played out a turn of laying down artifacts, and if I was hellbent, he would have something to do. Obviously, a clear example is something like Timna. She would have something to do. Crom would have something to do. Like, you think of like Crom is a visit, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of just value commanders out there that are generally better to operate with. Where this is, yes, a value commander and a pretty decent one at that. It's just that it's contingent on you having other cards, which isn't great.
See you around,
Uh,
Mateus. Glad that you could join us.
yeah, acidic soil is great. Acidic soil here.
That's probably another burn effect.
I am gonna let this poll run for a hot second more, but we can keep moving on. I think it's an A.
Um,
I think it's an
it's,
A at best. I honestly think it's a B.
Acidic Soil is a 3 mana, deals damage to each player equal to the number of lands they control. That's funny.
Yeah, I like that.
He's funny.
I do think that Niv Mizzet is like a B. Dude,
Yeah. I,
it's just okay.
I'd argue potentially a C, but I'd easily agree to a B. Like, I'm not like, I don't hate him that bad that I would say that he's not competitive, but there's a lot of hoops for him.
You sound like you hate him, Will.
He's mid. uh, Next is Coma World Eater. 3 green green, blue blue, legendary creature serpent with 8 power and 12 toughness.
Oh
This
shit.
spell cannot be countered. Trample. and Ward 4.
My God, big boy.
You ain't touching this mofo at all.
Does this remind you of the Snake Eater game? Look at all the lines.
Yeah,
This complex
I was
line
gonna
of
bring
snake.
that up where it's like, oh yeah, we have a Como of the World Serpent before, and it's like, oh, what does he look like? And it's just like a guy. He's just a
Yeah.
snake. But then you have this one, Como World Eater, and it's like, oh, what's this art? All friggin' Coma coils.
Dude, this Koma's sick. Sorry.
But
Did you read the
uh,
last bit? Sorry.
whenever Coma deals combat damage, you create 4 Coils, which are a token that has existed before, so I'm not going to go into details on them. They're just 3/3 serpents. Um, this is a D because you're never playing this as a commander by itself, but it is a pretty decent threat card by the fact that it's a 7 mana 8/12 trample ward that cannot be blocked that makes 4/3/3s every single turn. That's just beating the crap out of people. It's also really good when you pair it with the other Coma that cares about Coma coils. So D, but not a horrible card. It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, in the CZ, it's not great. Um, but as a card, it's pretty dope. All right, last one. There's no.
Zimone Paradox Sculptor. 2 green blue for a legendary creature, human wizard with 1 power and 4 toughness. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 creatures you control. You could pay a green and a blue to tap and then double any kind of counter on up to 2 creatures and/or artifacts you control.
Ooh.
Pretty sure we had a commander that did something similar before, except for the fact that this does it on 2 things instead of 1. Pretty
She's.
good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. The
Uh,
fact that this also gives you the counters on stuff so that you can make things big means that Zamone is probably killing people with commander damage, but on top of that, Zamone can just double counters on key artifacts and other things, which is pretty cool. Um,
I like her.
yeah, Zamone is probably casual, but
Oh, for sure,
good
casual.
casual.
Yeah, I like her. She's come far from Strixhaven Academy. You know, I always knew that during her graduating year that she was gifted, and that when she left, she was gonna find her way in the universe. Anyways, is this really this is probably the only character we see reoccurringly from Strixhaven, by the way,
Yeah,
with any regularity. We might have seen that elephant kid Quintorius like once more.
Quintorius has been seen once more. We haven't seen any of the dragons. We haven't seen Brina or anything like that. Uh, Dina is another one that we've seen occasionally, I think, right? Let me look up Dina.
I'm hearing the Millennium Calendar with Zimone.
People need to stop talking about the Millennium Calendar. That card is so dumb.
Whenever you untap, Will.
You just need to tap a million things, Patrick.
Yeah, but then your opponent loses 1,000 life.
Sorry, you just need to tap a thousand things. So, so bad.
That's a pretty bad card. I like that it takes the
Don't
slot of a mythic, man. God, how bad is that?
let me look at one card. Uh
I'm okay
oh no,
with
Magistrate
Zimone and
Scepter's
C.
charge counters, not time counters. I was gonna say, you can move the counters from Millennium Calendar onto Magistrate Scepter and take extra turns. There you go, but no. No,
I'm
you cannot.
okay with Zimone in C, and I guess I'm gonna have to be okay with Niv Mizzet in A. I will say though that if any legendary here was gonna be an A, I think just based off of the text, we would all agree that it was Niv Mizzet here. Am I wrong?
I think several of the things in B are better than Visit. I'm going to stand by that. I hard disagree with it, but I will let the chat decide this one. I
Yeah.
think the elf is better than Niv Mizzet. I think the starfish is better than Niv Mizzet. But yeah,
Well,
we'll have Niv Mizzet in A.
the next brew for sure is going to be Plague On.
Yeah.
This guy looks sick as hell.
A plague on your house.
Yeah, this is Starmie all grown up. It's really fucked up looking. I love how nasty this guy looks. Plagon is next, guys. But that's the tier list.
I
We did
cannot.
okay.
I can't tell if Plagon would either laugh like Master Roshi or like just a little one of those little anime kids that's just a complete and utter snot. Like I
Oh,
can't tell if he'd laugh like or if he'd laugh like
I think the former there. It would be the Roshi. The Roshi laugh.
I'm drawing 20.
Yeah. I think that this is pretty accurate for this set. Mind you, a lot of these cards are more fun and value driven based off of synergy than anything else. So it's only logical that a lot of them wouldn't rank as highly as something that is just generically good. But we did see some interesting legendaries here. And I do think that there are some really cool ones in the B tier, and surprisingly, a handful more monocolored legendaries than we would see rank as highly, at least historically, from this channel. Um, yeah, but this is the unofficial tier list. You're here during the live, so you all know that we are probably extremely accurate with this. There's not a wrong decision made in this tier list. But I mean, what I'm really driving at is I hope you guys had fun setting this up with us. It is fun to look at these sets to see where things belong. We may adjust, obviously, these tiers moving into the future, but I think this gives you a good idea of what you should be looking to brew, depending on what you know, what you enjoy doing with Commander. Do you like playing competitively? Huh? Because I wouldn't recommend Niv. Let's keep the stream going. Why not? Well, we're gonna do a set review in the morning, so don't worry. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue the foundation party tomorrow. I did have fun looking through the set with you guys, though. Well, any closing thoughts on the legendaries from here?
Sorry about that. I was muted because somebody was talking right outside my door. Um, if you want to use any of these commanders, build any of these decks, use anything that we discussed, you can use our TCG Player affiliate link to buy some of these cards. Um, Outside of that, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Look forward to our stream tomorrow. As Patrick said, we're going to be doing the full set review, going over all the non-legendary things and some of the legendaries for the 99 here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, hope all of you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Yeah, enjoy Arcane tomorrow. I know I will. God, I'm so excited for this weekend. This is like much needed. I really, really need some downtime. Like this whole last weekend was hectic, hectic, hectic. My wife ran the New York City Marathon last weekend. We had family in town. There was like not a day off for me for the last 2 weeks. So like this tonight is a breath of fresh air. So getting to do the stream with you guys was a blast. I will let you defer to this list off of here. I normally post these in the community chat, but I'm not getting a good way to download it. Let me see if I can download it. Community post section here on YouTube. But yeah, stay tuned for more live brewing sessions, and of course the set review tomorrow. See you guys. Pooped. Well, I start up another game of Cyberpunk that I want to get to at some point. Maybe not tonight. I'm gonna see what the wife is doing in a second. What?
I firmly believe that like Dionys and the Starfish are going to be better than Niv.
I don't disagree. I honestly think that Niv, after playing it, was like so mediocre.